10. 38-10.
All right, you're going to give them 10?
Give them 10.
As for the football side of things, the Vols completed an impressive week of practice with their final walkthrough today. 17th-ranked Virginia Tech presents a big challenge Friday night, especially senior quarterback Maurice DeShazo. The most productive QB in Tech history, DeShazo is the Hokies' career leader in touchdown passes and total offense.
A lot of guys have been recruited by Tennessee and Tech, and there's some of them come to Tech. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys have gone to Tennessee, so they're right up the road. This game right here should put us on the map, you know, considering that we win.
Always concerned about them taking the ball and keeping it, being able to run the football, and they are capable of doing that as well.
Now, as for the injury situation, Tennessee, very fortunate. They come into the game almost completely healthy. Joey Kent twisting an ankle yesterday, but he got plenty of treatment today, and he will play in the Gator Bowl tomorrow night. The one sad note, of course, as many of you know, Jerry Colquitt's
middle of it and has more from the Vol Caravan.
The game might be 65 miles from here, but Vol fans have finally found their way to Jacksonville. And now it's just a question of who will outnumber who. Well, Hugh, give me a traffic update here. You saw a lot of Tennessee fans heading down the interstate on the way into Jacksonville?
Yes, we saw several at the rest areas where we'd parked in, and we passed some who had their orange stickers in their windows and see flags flying, and just like that.
I think we'll have plenty of people here tomorrow.
Any Tennessee fans giving you trouble with that Virginia Tech written on your sweatshirt right there?
Not at all. They're excellent fans, no trouble whatsoever.
While UT fans have fun the day before the big game, the coaches are getting downright serious.
Too close to the game to talk.
That's right. I'm not going to fight this big guy, I can tell you that.
This week's festive field took a downward turn today. Jerry Colquitt's dad passed away this morning. It's been a terrible year for the former Vol starting quarterback.
I don't have a lot of details, except I talked to his mom this morning early, and she told me about it, and I talked to our team physician and David Cutcliffe, and we woke that Jerry up and told him about it and stayed with him a while, and then made arrangements for him to get home.
While Jerry heads home to be with his family, Vol fans are here in Jacksonville tonight having fun, and the team heads to Gainesville tomorrow to play some football. In Jacksonville, Jim Wogan, 6 Eyewitness Sports.
The Vols, Larry, in a season of 5 different quarterbacks, 4 heartbreaking losses, 3 Southeastern Conference defeats, 2 fabulous shutouts, and 1 more game to close the book on 1994. Look out, Spurrier. The Big Orange is taking over the swamp.
WATE TV6 presents the Big Orange Gator Bowl Special, Showdown at the Swamp. Now, live from Florida Field in Gainesville, here's Jim Wogan.
We are ready to cap off the 1994 season. Welcome everyone live to Gainesville, Florida, and the Showdown at the Swamp. The Vols and Virginia Tech in the 1994 Gator Bowl. Hi everyone, I'm Jim Wogan. We're live at the Swamp. 60 to 65,000 fans expected here for this game tonight between Tennessee and Virginia Tech. And there's no sign of Steve Spurrier anywhere in the crowd. Should be a good football game between Tennessee and number 17 Virginia Tech. And how did we get this far? Well, back in September, it was kind of rough going for Tennessee. We start the season 1-3, but here we are 7-4 and playing in a bowl game on December 30th here in Gainesville, Florida. Let's take a look back now at the 1994 season for Tennessee. It's rough from the get-go. Playing UCLA in Pasadena, starting quarterback Jerry Colquitt goes down 7 plays into the season. The Vols are down 18-0 to UCLA in the 4th. They come back, but they lose by 2. Todd Helton gets the start against Georgia. James Stewart scores 4 touchdowns, and the Vols blow out the Bulldogs. They're 1-1, but not for long. In UT's first home game, it's Florida 31, the Vols nothing. It's on the road again in Starkville, where the Vols fumble 5 times. UT loses another quarterback and the game to Mississippi State, 24-21. At 1-3, the Big Orange is back home to face 17th-ranked Washington State. The Vols play defense and win by a point. A week later, UT improves to 3-3 with a win over the Arkansas Razorbacks. But then, it's Bama. Peyton's last-ditch drive comes up short, and the Vols lose. Ouch. Again. Back to a 500 record. The Vols play the Gamecocks in Columbia, and they win by 9. For the first time this season, the Vols have a winning record. It's Tennessee 24, Memphis 13. The Beer Barrel's staying in Knoxville for another year. The Vols whipped Kentucky 52-0 and are now 6-4. The finale at Vanderbilt was fun if you're a Vol fan. James Stewart and John Becksport have record-breaking days. The Vols with a 65-0 win, a 7-4 record, and 3 days later, a Gator Bowl bid to boot. So here we are at 7-4 and a chance to go 8-4 with a win tonight against Virginia Tech here in Gainesville, Florida, in the Gator Bowl, and the Virginia Tech marching band is kind of surrounding us here. Let's hope they don't get on those instruments too soon. One of the big guys for Tennessee on the playing field this year, James Littleman Stewart, and Scott Finley, who is standing by live now in Knoxville. Scott, we've got, I guess, about 15, maybe 16,000 Tennessee fans officially down here. But I think there are a few more back there in Knoxville with you ready to watch the game, aren't there?
Yeah, just a few. Be careful those tuba players there, Jim.
I will.
Might be some trouble for you right there. Might have
they're big guys.
Might have to put up the dukes or something. Yeah, we're live here at Hooray's in the Old City, and the folks are already filing into this place to come watch the Gator Bowl down here tonight. But you were talking about James Littleman Stewart. I remember this guy when he was playing for Morristown West High School, and it seems like it's only been a few years, but obviously it's been 4 because he's had 4 great years at the University of Tennessee. I wanted to find out why they called him the Little Man. So I asked him, he says, ask my dad. So I asked James' dad, and James' dad said, well, he was Daddy's little man. Well, James has certainly become the Vols' big man in his career.
If the Vols need a first down or that tough yard down on the goal line or a burst that will break a game wide open, the number to call is 33.
It's kind of, slow motion type of process. You running, and then when the hole opens up, you got to hit it right at that moment, and hopefully the hole stays open just enough so you can make your moves after you get to the line of scrimmage.
And James Littleman Stewart has made his moves up the Vols' career rushing ladder, able to lead tall linemen in a single bound. The Little Man has become the Vols' Superman.
He has great vision, and I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of his runs come off cutbacks. A lot of times he doesn't really just hit the hole clean. He'll go up in the line and make a good cut.
Sometimes you don't really have a lot of holes, and then, him and Aaron will just squeak right through them. So, I mean, sometimes we open some up that I could run through, and then sometimes we open some that I couldn't crawl through that they get through. You got to be able to know where people are at on the field in order to make the right cuts, and I think I have a little bit of that, like all other great running backs do. You have to have vision and looking for the possibilities of whether or not I'm going to go outside or whether or not I'm going to have to go, straight upfield, north and south, and, possibly run somebody over. If you decide right, it could be a touchdown.
And he's done that plenty of times. 35 career touchdowns. But it's a team thing for James, ready to credit his line at any mention of his accomplishments.
They opened up some big homes. I mean, they really, the last, couple of games of the season, they really came together, and I think they really showed everybody across the nation that, they're one of the top lines. They say, whatever you do, when you get to me, I'm going to handle my block. So if you get to me, don't worry about just run.
He's very complimentary. He's been that way for the last 3 years. If he makes a nice run, he realizes that, he can't do it without us, and we realize, how special of a player he really is.
People playing at home, if James breaks through the line, you feel his momentum shift, and all of a sudden you hear a roar of a crowd, and then you just kind of look up. You're tired, so you're hoping, score, score, score. That's all that's going through your mind. Go, go, go.
The record is 2,890 yards. It has James Stewart's name beside it. He's been running so fast for so long, it hasn't sunk in just yet.
Like right now, I really don't have a full grasp of what I've done or whatever. And I think, like my dad said, you know, a couple of years on down the road, I really respect and really have respect for, you know, what happened. I mean, it's going to be broken, but I'm just glad that I was able to leave University of Tennessee as the #1 leading rusher.
You know, considering that James has had to share time with Aaron Hayden and Charlie Garner, I mean, this record of 2,890 yards is quite impressive. I expect to see a big game out of him tonight with Aaron Hayden not being able to go. We'll go back live now to the Swamp. Jim, I guess we're about 20 minutes away. You still there?
Yeah, I'm trying to get these guys to play Rocky. You guys know Rocky Top? I don't think they want to play Rocky Top.
I don't think so either.
Plenty more coming your way here on Showdown at the Swamp. We're live in Gainesville, Florida, site of the 1994 Gator Bowl. In fact, back in a minute to talk about Virginia Tech. Indeed, some Tech talk coming your way next. Tennessee fans, drum up a little more noise, baby, please.
Man, is that the band there? What is that?
That's the band.
That's pretty loud down there at the Swamp. We're going to get it loud here at Hooray's just a second. Johnny Malloy's ready to go. This is a kind of a game ritual thing for Johnny and down here at Hooray's. Johnny, go ahead and do your thing for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very important announcement to make. It is only 15 minutes till football time in Tennessee.
I think these folks might be just a little bit louder than the gang down there at the Swamp. What do you think? Tennessee fans getting ready for a big football game tonight. You've heard us talk about the Vols. Well, we want to tell you a little bit about Virginia Tech and some of the key matchups in this game. There's going to be some good ones. Take a look. The main guy who could give the Vols trouble tonight is quarterback Maurice DeShazo. He's Virginia Tech's all-time leader for total offense, racking up 6,105 yards, breaking former Miami Dolphin quarterback Don Strock's school record. DeShazo also setting the school mark for touchdown passes with 47. It'll be interesting to see what a month of preparation has done for Peyton Manning, the SEC's Freshman of the Year, getting thrown in the fire as a true freshman, tossing 11 touchdowns and hitting on 62% of his passes. You already know what James Stewart is capable of, but with Aaron Hayden out, Stewart will be thrust into the spotlight more than ever. Defensively, Steve White leads the Vols' pursuit. The junior from Memphis has had a stellar year with 7 sacks. It's been an on and off year for John Bexford, but when you need him for an extra point, there's never a question. John becoming the NCAA record holder, booting 161 straight extra points, on the way to becoming the Vols' all-time leading scorer. And how about Nilo Sylvan, the burst of nitro the Vols needed at times this season? Nilo Nitro, second in the nation in punt returns. He's definitely lethal when he touches the ball. So it should be some fun stuff, some interesting matchup. That's to get you ready for the big game coming up here in just a few minutes. Go back live down there to Jim and see if he's still alive amongst all those Virginia Tech fans. The band, are you still there, Jim?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to get these guys out on the football field where they belong. We got a guy here who's played in the Gator Bowl game, got a rooting interest tonight. Archie Manning, father of Peyton Manning and former Ole Miss quarterback. Arch, we were talking earlier off camera. You've never played here at Florida Field, did you?
No, I never did. In the years I was at Ole Miss, we never played Florida. I played baseball down here. We won an SEC championship here at Florida one year. But so this is just the second time I've been here, Jim. Peyton and I came down here when he was a junior on an unofficial visit.
You played in the Gator Bowl back in '71. How much of that game do you remember? And do you remember all those runs you made during that game?
I've seen a couple of them on film. I remember I had a broken arm, and I was just glad I got to play. It was my last college game, and Auburn was a good team. Pat Sullivan and Terry Beasley. They jumped on us. Looked like it was just going to be a slaughter, and we were fortunate enough to get back in the game, make a game out of it, but we couldn't win it. I remember I got real tired, too. I'd been in the hospital for a couple of weeks. I remember I got real tired.
I think you ran for 95 yards in that game, and I think we had pictures of you sucking oxygen there at one point there on the sideline.
Yeah, I really didn't finish the game because I kind of got dehydrated there, but I don't remember any stats. I remember one run where, I don't think I gained but about 25 or 30 yards, but ran about 120. You do that when you're scared sometimes.
You're down 21-0 and the game came back. It was a pretty good football game, really, wasn't it?
It wound up being a good game. Actually, a few years ago, I was fortunate enough to come down here like Coach Dickey yesterday and was put in the Gator Bowl Hall of Fame. And at that point, I don't know what's happened since. At that point, the Gator Bowl members had voted that the best game they'd ever had in the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, well, what about playing in a bowl game? I mean, you played in 3 in your college career. Peyton's coming in here his first bowl game. What's that like for a kid to come in and play in his first postseason football game in college?
I think it's real special, number one, for anybody to get to play in a bowl game. And I think for a freshman, you know, and Tennessee's got many, and I'm sure Virginia Tech has some, but that's a big thrill for a freshman. I think it's something expected when you come to Tennessee, but I don't think last year when we were going through all this, Peyton expected to be starting in a bowl game after his freshman year, just like he didn't expect, especially being his 8th start of the year. So it's been a crazy year, but hopefully they played well down the stretch, and hopefully they can finish it off strong.
He's done so well in his freshman year, and as you mentioned, just being thrown into the fire, so to speak, the way things went. Everyone's speculating how much he may have learned from you through the process. Was there really a teaching process going on, or did he just pick up things through osmosis, so to speak?
Well, it wasn't a real teacher. I mean, I never went out and said, you know, I'm going to make my son a quarterback. My kids all enjoyed sports, and Peyton just always liked to play quarterback and did play it, and had he had kind of a natural throwing motion, and he worked real hard at it. And I love to spend time with my kids, and when he'd say, Dad, let's go play catch, or you want to run some routes for me, which I can't do very well, but, you know, I just like doing that. But it wasn't a matter of coaching, and even in high school, you know, I didn't get involved. His coaches did the work. And then especially now, you know, they think Peyton and I talk football all the time. David Cutcliffe even one day wanted me to sit down when he taught him some of the system. And I said, I don't want to know the system. I mean, you guys, you're his coach, and you got control of it. I'm just his daddy, and that's really all I want to be.
All right, Archie, you got your orange pom-poms anywhere, or are you going to be up there?
I got about 16 people here from our family, so everybody's excited. We got plenty of orange up there.
All right, Archie, we really appreciate you coming by, talking with us live like this, and have fun watching the football game.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, Archie Manning, father of Peyton Manning. I guess we'll put it that way. Back live from Florida Field in Gainesville, Florida. Showdown at the Swamp. We'll answer that always important question. What the heck is a Hokie? Next.
With so many different...
Kick it off in about 20 minutes here. Not too far away. And, you know, we've been asking that all-important question all week. In fact, it concerns the team mascots. Tennessee's we're very familiar with, the Blue Tick Hound. But Virginia Tech's mascot, a little bit more mysterious. They've got the turkey. They're known as the Gobblers. And they're also known as the Hokies. And we asked Tennessee players and coaches to try and answer that always important question, what the heck is a Hokie?
I really don't know what a Hokie is. I'm a little bit familiar with Virginia Tech. They were called the Gobblers at one time, which had to do with a turkey.
Do you have an idea what a Hokie is?
No, I have no idea. I don't even know what it is.
I've heard several different nicknames that they have for the team, but I really don't know what a Hokie is. I wouldn't have a clue.
I have heard that they have a little fight song goes something like Hokie, Hokie, Hokie High, Tech, Tech, VPI, or something like that, but I don't know what a Hokie is.
Well, I'm not sure we really answered that question the way we wanted to answer it. You know, Florida is a state of heavy-duty tourist attractions, and we thought we'd come up with a list, our top 5 list, if you will, of the tourist attractions that Virginia Tech Hokie fans might visit while they're here in the state of Florida. We like to call this Wogan's top 5 list of tourist attractions for Virginia Tech Hokie fans. And at number 5, how about nightlife at Hokie West? Number 4, fishing on Lake Okeechobee. Number 3, shuttle launches at Hoke Kennedy Space Center. How about number 2, guided tours through the Hokie-Finokie Swamp. And our number 1 tourist attraction for Virginia Tech fans, always the latest dance craze, the Hokey Pokey. Hey, pretty good. You guys were pretty good. We had our cymbal player and our drum player. What are you guys' names?
Heath Oderman of Virginia Beach.
James Davis of Virginia Beach.
And you guys are with the Virginia Tech marching band. What's the deal here?
No, sir.
You're from a local high school here. Well, that was pretty good. One more time with the cymbal there and the drum. Little sound effect deal. Go ahead. I think that added to things very nicely. Thanks, guys. Good job. As always, Why don't you go that way if you would? Out that way. Exit stage left with those other band members. Get those other band guys out of here, too, if you can. All the fans are here. They're ready for a football game. Kickoff is getting closer and closer. Those Virginia Tech Hokies and our always lovable Tennessee Volunteers about ready for kickoff down here in Gainesville, Florida. Back with more live. We'll talk more about the showdown next. Back live at Florida Field in Gainesville, Florida. The 1994 Gator Bowl. Tennessee and Virginia Tech were just minutes away from kickoff down here. And Scott Finley still back there live in Knoxville. And Scott, I guess I went on record earlier in the week. I'm saying Tennessee 27-17. I swore off predictions many months ago, but I'll stand by at 27-17 in what should be, I think, a very, very good football game here to cap off 1994.
I think that's pretty right. I've been saying Tennessee by 10 all week, but we take a little poll here, Jim and Hoorays, and we all decided that we're going to get you trumpets. We're going to take up a collection so you can march in the band tonight.
Hey, I finally got these guys out of here and onto the football field, and pretty soon they'll be getting off the football field, hopefully. Let the big guys come out there and play some football. I think the key might be DeShazo, whether he plays well. The interceptions we talked about tonight at 6. If he had the game he had against Virginia, Virginia Tech could be in some serious trouble here. Tennessee's defensive backfield is back and very healthy for tonight's game, too.
Yeah, I think so, too, Jim. I think Maurice DeShazo definitely the key for the Hokies. We want to get this in one more time. Johnny's going to go to the countdown to the kickoff here. Go ahead, Johnny.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please listen up. I have a very important announcement. Guess what? It is now football time in Tennessee.
It's all official here in Knoxville, Jim. What about down there at the Gator Bowl? We're ready to play some football. Tennessee getting ready to take on Virginia Tech. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I wish I had the same command over the crowd that he had. We got, I would think, probably 60, maybe 65,000 fans here at the Swamp. The only section not really filled up the big upper deck up there behind the Tennessee end zone, but should be a very, very good football game, and we're glad everyone back there in Knoxville could join us for our pregame special showdown at the Swamp. The game, of course, being televised tonight by the folks at Turner Broadcasting, but don't forget, we'll be back live at 11 o'clock with complete post-game coverage. Once again, thanks everyone for joining us. Good luck to the Vols, and we'll see you tonight.
To win this game, you've got to crush him, stuff him, pound him. You've got to grind him, bash him. Tennessee, Virginia Tech, live in prime time on TBS.
Tonight, the Gator Bowl is making a one-time stop at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida, because of construction at the stadium in Jacksonville. So tonight, from Gainesville, it's the Outback Steakhouse Gator Bowl on TBS Sports. The Virginia Tech Hokies of the Big East meeting the Tennessee Volunteers of the SEC. Hi again, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. On behalf of Turner Sports, I want to wish you a Happy New Year. You know, Tennessee didn't get started very well. In the first series of the game, they lost their starting quarterback. They got out of the chute 1-3, but they've won 6 of their last 7 games. The last 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 117-0. This is the season of firsts for Virginia Tech. First time they've been invited to Florida for a bowl game, and the first time they've made back-to-back bowl appearances. They finished 8-3 and second in the Big East. Back with my partner, Pat Hayden. And Pat, as you look at this Virginia Tech team, they're engineered very well by quarterback Maurice DeShazo. He's their all-time productive quarterback.
Well, Maurice DeShazo has had a very nice college career, and the only quarterback in Virginia Tech history ever to lead them to 2 straight bowl games. Now, a year ago, as a junior, he had a sensational season, 22 touchdown passes, only 7 interceptions, but it was a different offense, Gary. They ran a lot of option plays. They had him scramble around and shotgun a lot. This past year is more of a power offense, drop-back passing. So they said for this bowl game, they're going back to that 1993 offense, really a lot more option plays, getting the shotgun, 4 wide receivers, and let him ad-lib. They think that gives them their best chance.
Well, Pat, even though they're going to that new offense, as you mentioned, they still have their go-to guy, Antonio Freeman. He's the all-time leading receiver at Tech.
You know, the more you watch Antonio Freeman, the more you appreciate him as a receiver and understand why DeShazo likes to go to him in those clutch situations. This is a guy that catches the ball in traffic, can separate away from defenders coming out of the break, and it's a clutch receiver for them they look for in those third down situations. I think he is really the key tonight for Virginia Tech. He needs to catch 5 or 6 passes, and I think at least 2 deep ones.
Well, Tennessee is quarterbacked by a true freshman in Peyton Manning. He was the SEC Freshman of the Year, comes from great bloodlines. His father, Archie, an All-Pro and All-American at Ole Miss. He started 7 games and won 6 of them.
Well, he had the kind of season any father would be proud, and you're right, he started as a third-team quarterback, and then he went 6-1 as a starter. This is a young man at 18 years old that had a very big season, 11 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions. Great poise, a very strong arm. He's an accurate thrower. I don't consider him a freshman anymore. And Tennessee will also play their other quarterback, Brandon Stewart, number 6. They have 2 very good freshmen, and they're going to use both of them tonight.
James Little Man Stewart, the all-time Vol rusher. He had a high of 211 yards this year.
3,000-yard rusher in his career, 1,000 for the season. Remarkable considering he shared the position most of this year. Bill Former said he may get 30 carries tonight.
Well, the offensive line might be the best in the nation. They think all 5 of the guys might end up playing in the pros.
Well, you know, Gary, offensive linemen never seem to get enough credit, and at the University of Tennessee, they've gotten the kind of credit they deserve. This is an offensive line that can dominate a football game, particularly in the fourth quarter. The left side, Jason Lehman, the left tackle, Kevin Mays, the left guard. Those are the 2 guys. Believe it or not, they're going to have a large say in this game.
These 2 teams have not met since 1937. The Vols lead the series 4 games to 2. We'll be back to bring the teams on the field and also bring Craig Sager aboard as we have the Hokies and the Volunteers. Come on to the gridiron. They're 7-4. This is a team that lost 3 games by a total of 9 points. And they're looking at this game as a must game, a must for recruiting and national respect. And here come the Hokies of Virginia Tech. $18,000 to 20,000 fans that travel from Virginia, the Blacksburg area. Tech is 8-3, ranked 15th in the nation. And as Frank Beamer put it, if we can somehow win this ball game, we'll get the respect we deserve. Well, earlier today, Craig Sager started his day in Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville is known as quite a football city, although currently the stadium is not all that pretty. Torn to the ground was nearly every beam to make a home for the NFL Jaguar team. $125 million for this renovation, workers day after day without a holiday vacation. Labor Day marks the kickoff for the pros, a change of venue needed for this year's Gator Bowl foes. But for now, it's time to load buses one by one for a 60-mile ride down Highway 301. Coach Fulmer and his Vols don't seem to mind. After a 1-3 start, some bowls left them behind. For Frank Beamer's Hokies, it caps an 8-3 year. The competition in the Big East leaves them nothing to fear. The caravans were off and rolling after a 3:30 release. Players and fans escorted by the state police. If the weather holds up and both teams show up healthy, the game should please all and make both schools quite wealthy. Close to 60,000 have made the trip to Gainesville for a gridiron battle at Griffin Stadium, Ben Hill. From Virginia and Blacksburg, the mascot, a Hokie. The Vols from Tennessee with a coonhound named Smokey. We'll be back with a kickoff from Florida's field, but first, to this commercial break, we must yield.
Gainesville, Florida, Virginia Tech squaring off against Tennessee. The first time these two teams met since 1937. Frank Beamer in his 8th year, 48 years old, 2 straight now, 8-3 regular season records. He's a Tech alumnus. He's guided the Hokies to new heights. And the first time that Tech has ever gone to back-to-back bowls. And his counterpart, Phil Fulmer, 44 years old, his second full season. Previous to that, he was 13 years a ball assistant. Long, very well recognized as one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. He played offensive guard for the Vols, and he played in the '69 Gator Bowl. Tennessee won the toss. They will defer, so Tech will be receiving. Tom Hutton will be kicking off for the Volunteers. Brian Still will go back. He led the Big East in kickoff returns this year. And we're underway with the Gator Bowl. It's going to be taken by the up back at the 15-yard line. That's Tommy Edwards, and Edwards punks his way to the 29-yard line. So Virginia Tech will start from there. Tommy Edwards on the stop. Maurice DeShazo, the quarterback. A lot of people feel this is one of the finest option quarterbacks in college football. Outstanding athlete. He can make big plays when he pulls the ball down. He struggled with his consistency this year, going to the new.
He's got the ball in his hands on the perimeter of the defense, either running it or throwing the football.
From the 29, play action fake. Still, the intended receiver incomplete at the 35. Let's take a look at the rest of this Virginia Tech offensive unit. DeShazo rolling to the far side. Up the field, it's intercepted. Tyrone Hines, the linebacker's got it, and we have a turnover early in the game.
You know, Gary, Tennessee did not have many interceptions this year. One of the things Larry Marmey, the defensive coordinator, was concerned about was they didn't have many big plays on defense, and Tyrone Hines, the middle linebacker, primarily known, he's right in the middle of your screen, primarily, he's number 47, as a run-to-stopper, read it perfectly. And the ball was poorly thrown right to him. He couldn't do anything but catch it.
Hines, who became the starter at middle linebacker the 4th game on, and what an addition he's been. From the 28 now, Peyton Manning will start this drive. He gives to James Stewart. A lot of confusion around the 25-yard line as he tries to slug it forward. Pick up a 3 on the play. Brandon Simonis made the stop. Well, we mentioned Peyton Manning in the opening of this broadcast, the SEC Freshman of the Year. He threw for more yards and touchdowns than any Tennessee freshman quarterback. Got a great arm. He throws ropes, is what they said. Remarkable poise. He's gotten better and better. He just doesn't have a lot of experience.
And, Gary, what I like about him is his anticipation. He throws the ball on time.
Second down, make it 8 yards to go. Peyton Manning trying to get rid of it to the near side. Complete to Nilo Sylvan, and Sylvan is going to be tackled short of the 15-yard line. Torian Gray over to make the stop on Sylvan, and Sylvan is not getting up right now. He is shaken up on the play. Sylvan, an outstanding punt returner. He was second in the nation, and he is down. A 9-yard pickup on the play, which would be enough for the first down, but of more concern is the status of Sylvan.
Nilo Sylvan, the best guy with the ball in his hands after the catch. Historian Gray, number 14, who gets a hold of his face mask. And he got twisted there. It looked like it was clearly a face mask call, or should have been one on Gray.
It looked like his ankle or the leg got buckled under him when they caught him high and drilled him out of bounds. So at the 16 is where it'll be first down.
Yeah, Sylvan is a guy for Tennessee who really came on. They use him in a lot of different ways on reverses, both as a receiver and, as you mentioned, as a punt returner. So you try to get him the ball. Even if it's a short little pass, a little screen pass, he can turn, you know, those 3-yard plays into 40 or 50 yards.
Sylvan out of Covington, Louisiana. He is a junior. They wanted to get the ball in his hands as much as they can because of the big play performer that he is. Marcus Nash, a true freshman out of Tulsa now, has come into the huddle to replace Sylvan, who obviously is in a lot of pain.
Remember, Tennessee in the beginning of the year, their first game against Tennessee, lost their best receiver, and Billy Williams out with a stress fracture in his foot. He is available tonight. But
not only that, their starting quarterback is Jerry Colquitt. By the way, I want to say hello to Jerry Colquitt. He is back home. He lost his father, John, Wednesday night suddenly. And it's been a tough year for Jerry, but I want to say hello to him.
And wish his family the best.
Well, this is not the way you want to start a football game, obviously. They're still looking Sylvan over. Sylvan. So we come back now. First down at the 16-yard line. We're going to have two wideouts split to the top of the field. Nash and Kendrick Jones. Peyton Manning now changing the play. He has 4 seconds on the play clock. He gives to Stewart, and Stewart got very little on that play. Little man Stewart stopped for maybe a half yard on the play. The rest of the Volunteer offense. Mose Phillips, who can play some tailback. Joey Kent, who had a very good year, their leading receiver. Kendrick Jones, a senior, who was an unsung hero for this team. Up front, this is the line we talked about. Kevin Mays was a first-team All-SEC pick. The rest of those guys, Lehman, Smith, and Miller, were second team. Second down, virtually 10 yards to go. Handoff again to the near side. Fighting his way down to the 10-yard line. Go the Volunteers. Gang tackled there by Virginia Tech. And there is a penalty flag as Stewart is stopped just short of the 10-yard line. A pickup of 5 on the play. It's going to go against Tennessee. Let's look now at this Virginia Tech defense. The first 4 games of the year gave
Okie defensive backfield. They think they have a great opportunity to throw the ball deep and then underneath and let their wide receivers run. They don't think they're good tacklers either.
So now after the penalty, it's second down and 16 out to the 21-yard line. After the interception by Hines, Tennessee trying to capitalize on it. Mose Phillips, the single running back. Peyton Manning, quick slant. Stewart makes the grab and dropped it. He had it momentarily. A big hit by the guy we were talking about, Baron Spinner, his first starter, redshirt freshman out of Bedford, Virginia. They're looking for somebody to step forward, and he did there.
Deep.
Third and 16. Manning to the shotgun. Over the middle, the catch is made. Joey Kent, he may have a first and goal. Let's see where they mark it. He needed to get to the 5. They're going to mark it inside the 5. First and goal. 17-yard pickup on the play.
You talking about Peyton Manning throwing ropes, Gary. This is one of them. I mean, this is a guy, he looks left, looks the free safety off, and then throws it right in between defenders. Just drilled it. That had to be a tight throw, but not only was it a rope, it had enough velocity to get to the receiver before the defensive back did. That was a well-thrown ball, and he looked off the free safety.
First and goal at the 4. Stewart going airborne. He's to the 1. And the forward progress, the ball came out of there, but they're going to mark it down at the 1-yard line. He went over the left side. This is a left-handed team. They want to run left, as you talked about. And it's going to be second and goal at the 1.
We talked about the Tennessee offensive line. This is the biggest asset of this football team, the University of Tennessee, is their offensive line. And in particular, the left tackle, Jason Lehman, the left guard, Kevin Mays, 2 guys who can dominate a game.
Second and goal now. Handoff, Stewart. And Stewart is in. Touchdown, Tennessee. Little man Stewart, the all-time leading rusher for UT, has given the Vols a 6-0 lead as they capitalize on the interception by Tyrone Hines. So they overcome the penalty, and Philip Fulmer is happy with this start. Point after attempt now. This will be John Beckford, who set an NCAA record this year with 161 consecutive PATs, and he's got another one on the way. It's good. And Tennessee with an early 7-0 lead with 11:41 to go in this first quarter of play. The Vols taking 7 plays to get on the scoreboard.
First quarter, but this was a strong run by James Stewart. Remember, after the interception, a nice drive. He is a powerful runner, and again, toward the left side. The left side of this offensive line can be very, very good. What you're going to see here, first of all, the tight end, David Horn, blocks down. Lehman gets his man, and Mays gets his man, and then Poole, who's a second tight end, comes in and dominates his guy as well. If you can block like this in the goal line, you're going to score a lot of touchdowns.
Let's go down now, and Craig Sager get us an update on Nilo Sylvan, who was hurt in the first part of this ball game. Craig?
Well, Gary, they're putting an air cast on his right ankle, then taking Niall Sylvan for x-rays. The doctors tell me right now that it looks like he has a broken ankle. Either way, he is definitely out for the night. So Sylvan gone for Tennessee.
You know, they lost Aaron Hayden in the last ball game to a broken leg in the game against Vanderbilt. The kickoff now will go to Brian Still. Still will bring it out to the 10, 15, little hole in. Bang, the ball comes loose. They scramble forward at the 20-yard line, and it looks like Virginia Tech has recovered.
So, Gary, Virginia Tech in their last game against Virginia turned the ball over 8 times. So far tonight, they have the 1 turnover there and a ferocious special teams hit on Brian Still there.
Fumble recovery that time by Corey Irby. Let's watch it as they come down after him.
It was 44, Craig King, right in the middle of your screen, who dominates his guy, just blows through 2 players and made the hit. And good special teams by both teams. Virginia Tech's had a big year on special teams, and for years and years, the Tennessee Volunteers have won games in the kicking department.
So they start this drive now, their second opportunity, just short of the 20. DeShazo, low snap, gives it off to Dwayne Thomas. Thomas running wide and got a yard, and that's all. Good reaction that time by Tennessee.
Gary, this is an important drive, I think, for Maurice DeShazo and the Hokies, even though it's early here in the first quarter, but that their very first series, in one of his early passes, he gets picked off by Tyrone Hines, down 7-0. Here's where you need a confidence builder. You'd love to be able to get yourself a nice drive, even if you don't score, but maintain possession for a while to get some confidence.
Well, he threw 5 interceptions in the last game. Starts this one that way. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. On the option, DeShazo. He's going to try to keep it, and he's going to be thrown for a loss. Excellent play by Sean Summers, the junior out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the strong safety. A loss of 5. Let's take a look at the rest of this volunteer defense. Vin Talley's their best defensive player. Shane Burton used to be a tight end. They played him outside a defensive end, moved him in to tackle. Tyrone Hines, you might remember a moment ago, picking off the pass. He's in the middle. Gallion, their leading tackler this year, he started in the middle. Deron Jenkins, very athletic at the corner, and you saw Summers, the tackle he made. Jason Parker, the guy they can ill afford to miss. He may be the most important player on that defense. The Shades go back now on a 3rd down and 13. And a catch is made by Kevin Martin, the tight end, but it's going to bring up a 4th down.
Deron Jenkins, the left corner, was right in the right spot on a 3rd and 13. You let everything come in front of you. I mean, that's never going to get you the 1st down. And 2 series now, and they've had some problems. Clear the interception, and then they find themselves in 3rd and 13. It's the kind of team that needs to be, Gary, I believe, in a lot of those 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s. And DeShazo's got to make something happen on an ad-lib play.
So Summers will go back to field the punt due to the injury to Sylvan, and Robbie Powley hammered this one all the way back to the 25-yard line. Summers breaks the 1st tackle, the 2nd to the 40, 45, and tackled at the 47. Very good return. Now, Summers a year ago led the SEC in punt return. He was 5th this year, and then Sylvan was the guy that took over his job. Brian Jennings made the stop. 56-yard punt, 22-yard return. Gainesville, Tennessee with a 7-0 lead, and the next NBA game coming up on TBS is Thursday. San Antonio had to give you all that action coming up at the start of the new year.
Mailman's always busy around the holiday season, isn't he?
Well, in your case, I'm sure. So that punt was a 56-yard punt, but a 22-yard return that set it up now at the Volunteer 47-yard line.
Well, early in this first quarter, it's obviously been a game of field position, and Tennessee's enjoyed the better of it.
Peyton Manning with a 7-0 lead. Manning straight ahead of Stewart. Boy, he is so quick. As we said, the all-time leading rusher, 2nd-team All-SEC pick. Ken Brown, who we didn't expect to see a lot in this ball game, number 44, the senior from Richmond, there to make the stop. They were saying that he might play only sporadically because of a hamstring problem.
It tells you the kind of start Virginia Tech has had, that Ken Brown has come in and he's now calling defensive signals, which he did all year for the Hokies. So this is a guy, Ken Brown, that can affect the outcome of a game in a lot of different ways. In the passing game, as a blitzer, and stuff and runs.
2nd down and 6, play action by Peyton Manning, trying to buy some time, and he's going to be tackled. Very good reaction by Antonio Banks. And Brent Sylvan leading. As Craig Sager told you, they believe he has a broken ankle. It'll be 3rd down and 8 after that play by Antonio Banks. A quick slant completed to Joey Kent. He's going to be short of the first down. Stopped short of the 45-yard line. A 5-yard pickup on the play.
This Virginia Tech team will blitz you on every single play, and on 3rd and 11, or 3rd and 8, excuse me, they come out with a blitz, and Peyton Manning read it perfectly, but he dumped the ball off, and everybody knows on that blitz it has to be a sight adjustment. It's going to be a short pass, and they only pick up 5, so well-designed blitz by the Hokies. It forces a punt.
Tom Hutton to punt it. Antonio Freeman, who led the Big East in punt return, stands back at the 10. Hutton, a left footer. Freeman lets it hit. It goes into the end zone for the touchback, and Virginia Tech will have it at the 20-yard line, a 46-yard punt. So Tech now trying to regain their footing after suffering an interception early and falling behind 7-0. 7-0 lead, and they jumped on top of Virginia Tech early as they picked off Maurice DeShazo in the first series.
Yeah, it's number 47, Tyrone Hines, and again, I don't think DeShazo ever even saw him trying to get the ball out to his wide receiver. It was under some pressure and duress, but threw it right into Hines, who's primarily a run stuffer extraordinaire. But for a quarterback, Gary, I think early in a bowl game, I mean, you come in with such high expectations. You're a senior. You want good things to happen. Coming off a poor game against Virginia in their final game. You see what happened in 1993. Those are sensational numbers.
From the 20-yard line now, Tech down 7-0. There's a mishandled snap. DeShazo trying to get on it at the 20-yard line, and boy, nothing is really going well. You talk about a lack of rhythm. Right now, you get the sense that Virginia Tech has a lack of confidence.
Yeah, right now, Virginia Tech is struggling, and they need a play. And when they've struggled in the past, and they've needed a play, the ball never came up on the center. Conatee never got the ball off the grass. It looked like he was expecting to be playing on turf there. The ball never got through that 1.5 inch of grass. But here's where I think they need to get the ball to Antonio Freeman. He has been their go-to guy, their big play guy all year long.
They gained a yard on that mishandled snap. 2nd and 9. Pitch wide to Dwayne Thomas. Thomas tugging the legs, and he's very close to the first down as he falls across the 30. That should be enough. And that
gives them another set of downs.
First down from the 30. Bejo, their side, and still the intended receiver, and they're not on the same page there. And, you know, when you change your offense, even though you've had time since the last game, things just don't work the same as they do in practice sometimes. The rhythm, some of the confidence, some of the timing factors, and they just right now don't look like they know what they're doing to the passing game.
Plain and simply, Gary, offense is about rhythm, about being in rhythm. Like the San Francisco 49ers, quite honestly, in rhythm right now. Right now, the Hokies, Virginia Tech Hokies, haven't found that rhythm yet.
2nd down now, 10 yards to go. DeShazo moving to the far side, dumps it off now to Thomas. Thomas out to the 35, lunges forward, going to be short of the first down. It'll bring up a 3rd down and a couple of yards to go. And Thomas now trying to get him out of this hole. Scott Gallion, the linebacker, making the stop.
Number 42 on the right of the screen. And Larry Marmee, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, says, hey, Virginia Tech is one of the best screen teams we've ever seen. And they'll use the screens to both the back, the tailback, the fullback. They'll use wide receiver screens. And when you're a good screen team, it means a couple things. You have very good timing, and you have offensive linemen that can run.
You can see Thomas has been very good in the receiving department. 3rd and 2. And Thomas has got the first down, and he's down to the 49-yard line. An 11-yard pickup on the play. And Dwayne Thomas now carrying this Tech team on his shoulders. Deron Jenkins, the cornerback, eventually made the tackle.
Dwayne Thomas has got to feel, or make Maurice DeShazo feel a lot better. Look at the block by number 61, Billy Conatee, the center. I mean, he just dominated his guy. It was an easy read for Thomas to go right off the center's block, and they pick up a first.
First down now to 49. Thomas and Edmonds in the backfield. It's going to be a pitch to Thomas. Thomas this time maybe 2 yards as he falls across the midfield stripe. Steve White over there to make the stop. Volunteers had to replace all 4 of their defensive linemen from a year ago. And And then they were really struggling. They made a lot of changes defensively, and since that time, mid-season on, the Volunteers have played much better defensively.
Yeah, that was before their Washington State game, the 5th game of the year. They actually made 4 of those changes, including moving Tyrone Hines into the starting middle linebacker position.
2nd and 7. Still in motion. Handoff now to Thomas. Thomas, a yard short of the first down, and Dwayne Thomas, the workhorse right now, picked up 6 yards on the play. They're going to mark the ball just inside the 43 of Tennessee. Hines, the man that Pat just mentioned a moment ago, making the stop on Dwayne Thomas.
Well, you know, the Virginia Tech Hokies tried one option play, and it lost 5 yards. Now they've run power offensive plays with Dwayne Thomas very successfully. If they can mix in a couple of passes, then you have an offense that's in rhythm and very difficult to defend.
3rd down and 2. Shazo moving to the far side, and Kevin Martin can't hang on. No, he did catch it. That will be enough for the first down. Martin looked like he might have dropped it. He is a senior, 6'2", 239, and he makes the first down grab, a pickup of 4 yards.
An audible here by DeShazo, heads-up play, as he saw the big cushion here, and here's the first down marker. The receiver's just going to come right down here, and this was an audible by DeShazo, so a heads-up play. Anytime you see a cushion like that on 3rd and 2, you have a big old tight end who's a big target out there, you give him the ball. Pick up an easy first down.
First down at the 39 of Tennessee. Shazo on the option. He's going to keep it, and he's going to be stopped. Very good play by Gallion. Gallion, the leading tackler, he started the year at middle linebacker. They moved him outside to replace Ben Talley, who went to defensive end. One of the coaches said, doesn't matter where he plays, he's going to be the best player at that position.
One thing, though, the option plays have not surprised Tennessee so far. They've run 2 of them, and they've got -6 yards on their 2 option plays.
Yes, DeShazo, that's the best part of his game, is the option game. 2nd down, 10. From the shotgun this time. Handoff comes to Thomas, going nowhere, and that was Terry Fair, a true freshman out of Phoenix, out of South Mountain High School, coming up a loss of a yard on the play. This guy started 5 games. He was pressed into service because of many injuries. You can see, made the SEC all-freshman team.
You know, every game, every tape I watched of Tennessee in preparation for this broadcast series, it seemed like Terry Fair was making a play. You know, whether it was in the run game, the passing game, and people try to pick on him because he's a freshman, but he's had a big year and responded again with a very good tackle.
3rd down and 11. Still comes in motion. DeShazo back, scrambling around, pulls it down. This is where he's his best, as he's going to go out of bounds at the 36 and goes all the way through the Tennessee reserves to the bench area.
He may have been hit out of bounds here, Gary. It wasn't a heavy push, but it was a late hit, and generally, you know, referees will protect quarterbacks and call a penalty on those kind of plays.
You notice none of the Tennessee players tried to break his fall. Colley back to punt the football, 56 yards the first time. Colley trying to pooch it. John Summers calls for the fair catch. The ball bouncing around. It'll go inside the 10. And it's going to be very strategically placed by Colley, and Virginia Tech will have Tennessee backed up at the 7-yard line. So Sean Summers in place of Sylvan, letting that hit was not a good decision. 7-0.
It's not important to me personally because I've been there. I'd like these kids to do it. They've worked very, very
good. As we come back now at the 7-yard line after that very well-placed punt by Colley. Chester Ford, James Stewart in the backfield, a flag before the snap of the ball.
And one of the reasons is the great offensive line they have had and continue to have at the University of Tennessee. That's a very good reason for quarterback to go somewhere.
There's one of them, Jeff Smith. Mike Herrera from the WAC, the referee tonight. 5-yard penalty, moves it inside the 5. 1st and 13, and stuffed that time. The fullback Mose Phillips, no place to go, and Tech now trying to capitalize on this good field position. Cornell Brown was there, J.C. Price.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's offense in their last series kind of gotten in a little bit of a groove. They gave the ball to Dwayne Thomas, had some success. Now their defense, this is a great opportunity for them to make something happen. This is a blitzing type of defense, a penetrating defense. They're undersized, but they don't mind that. They're going to beat you with team speed.
They've recruited linebackers, tailbacks, fullbacks to play that defense. Here's Stewart. Stewart staying on his feet, gets out to the 9-yard line. It's still going to be 8 yards short of the first down.
That was a heck of a run by James Stewart, though. I mean, he looked like he was going to get stuffed by William Yarborough, number 24, just kind of ran right through his tackle. And number 33, we talked about him being a powerful guy, makes the middle linebacker, Del Rico, miss. And then the arm tackle of Yarborough, and that should have been maybe no gain, 2 yards.
Instead, we come to a 3rd and 8 now. Minute 39 left in the first quarter. 7-0, Tennessee. Play action by Peyton Manning's got to get rid of it, and it's complete. Catch made by Joey Kent. That'll be a first down for Tennessee out to the 22-yard line. Good poise that time by Peyton Manning.
He doesn't play like a freshman. I mean, Peyton Manning threw this ball under some duress, but again, on time. I mean, a little bit of pressure inside of Manning. He's going to see that all night because of the type of defense. But has a feel, doesn't waste any motion. Top of the screen, watch the route to Joey Kent. You can see right as he's coming out of the break, the ball's on its way. I mean, that's very difficult to defend.
11-yard pickup, first down. Peyton Manning again on the play action. Got somebody in his face, got a receiver wide open, Kent. And Kent comes up with the catch just short of the 35-yard line. And he may have hurt himself when he fell, but he hung on, and Joey Kent, their leading receiver, just caught one for 43 yards.
You know, David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator of Tennessee, said, hey, we wanted some more consistency out of Joey Kent, and they had it on this play. And they were set up perfectly. The play before, they run the out. They come right back, and they run the go. Blew right by the corner. You talk about stretching out. Perfect concentration. I mean, 2 beautiful catches in a row by Joey Kent.
And what did Philip Fulmer tell us they need to have him step up more? He stepped up there. Beautiful catch. 43-yard gain to the 36th of Tech. Peyton Manning double pumping. Got an man open. Marcus Nash. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Is that a great throw?
A true freshman out of Tulsa. They say he has all the tools, and I believe it.
Well, to another freshman, Marcus Nash. I mean, for these 3 passes of Peyton Manning, you saw a little bit of everything. An out pass, then a deep go on the left side to Joey Kent, and then a little flick of the wrist. The ball is in the air, 35 yards to Marcus Nash. And right on time and right on money. Those are 3 perfectly thrown balls and different kinds of throws.
Nash with his first touchdown catch. In the regular season, he got 5 for 77 yards. Becksport adds a point after. It's 14-0 Tennessee.
Okay, you see, he sees the field so well. He pump fakes left, then avoids the rush. He's got enough athleticism to make people miss, even though he's a big guy. And every read he's made has been the correct one. And then just a great throw and good concentration there by Marcus Nash. I mean, that's a combination, freshman to freshman, you're going to see a lot of in Knoxville. Right before the defender Gray can get there. Gray's an all Big East defender.
Yep. A lot of people felt that Nash was the top wide receiver recruited in the country this year, and he and Manning should hook up a lot. 14-0. Dad, interestingly enough, this is the first time this season that Tennessee has scored more than 7 points in the first quarter.
But they had kind of an unusual year. Got off to that very slow start at 1-3, and then finished strongly, winning 6 out of 7. You know, the Hokies were kind of the other way. They got off to a great start at 7-1, kind of stumbled a little bit at the end. Look at Peyton Manning. He's so young. Peyton Manning looks like kind of kid that brings your groceries out to the car, doesn't he?
Well, there's the UCLA game. That's when Colquitt went down in the first series. They had all kinds of injuries in that ball game and ended up being 1-3 and then winning 6 of their next 7. That'll go out of bounds, and Tech will get it at the 35-yard line if they choose to take it there. So 14-0. An interception setting up a touchdown, and now Manning with a 36-yard strike to Marcus Nash. And the Volunteers, who came in here 7-4, trying to rebound last year, they had a very difficult bowl game, losing to Penn State. They want to redeem themselves since that bowl game. Last year, getting thumped pretty good by Joe Paterno's team, losing 31-13. 1:08 to go. Shazo comes in now from the shotgun, and Tech needs to get something going. Pass intended for the go-to guy, Antonio Freeman, but that short hopped incomplete.
It was actually tipped by Jonathan Brown. Let's go back to the touchdown. Watch the arm strength here. And at first he looks left, and off his back foot. Again, just makes something happen, throws it up high to give his receiver a chance to go up and get it if he needs to. But again, the arm strength there, it was a touch pass on the out, and then on the deep ball of Joey Kent, it was more catch than throw. But a lot of different kind of throws there in Peyton Manning.
Well, they have another freshman, Brandon Stewart, who's outstanding in his own right. And we expect to see him in the second quarter of this ball game. DeShazo throwing far side, complete to Jermaine Holmes. And Holmes, a junior from St. Petersburg, is short of the first down. A pickup of 9 on the play. Down and a yard to go now for Virginia Tech. 58 seconds left in the first quarter. And Brian Edmonds, a fullback, has thrown for a loss on a 3rd and 1. He didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Edmonds, a sophomore out of Blackston, Virginia, was hit by Jason Parker. And Parker, number 7, is a very good football player. He's a junior out of Garland, Texas. And we have a man shaken up for Tennessee. There's the starter for the Volunteers. Their best defensive player. Colley comes in to punt. John Summers is back for the balls inside the 15-yard line. 14-0 Tennessee. Summers coming up. He'll make the fair catch at the 20-yard line. So UT will start from there. 36-yard punt. This Tennessee team was a team last year that was so explosive that they were averaging over 42 points a game. This year they became more of a methodical team, leading the SEC in rushing, and were 3rd overall in offense.
Well, think about the quarterback situation. Heath Schuler should have been a senior here, right? Then they lose, unfortunately, Jerry Colquitt to the injury in UCLA. Then their second-team quarterback, Todd Helton, goes down. They're left with 2 freshmen, talented ones, but guys who had not played a down in major college football.
How about Charlie Garner? He went on to the Eagles and did a very good job. We have all kinds of people firing off.
Jeff Smith kind of double clutched on that snap there.
Talked about little man Stewart becoming the all-time leading rusher. Reggie Cobb now playing for the Packers, and Garner, who we saw with the Eagles, and he really impressed us.
Yeah, they love him in Philadelphia.
And Aaron Hayden broke his leg in the last game against Vanderbilt. Chester Ford and Jay Graham now in the backfield after the penalty. 1st and 15. And here comes Jay Graham, and he's probably going to be starting tailback next year. A sophomore out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Pickup of 5. Graham, who's also a track man for Tennessee, brings it out to the 20. Cornell Brown is down now for Virginia Tech. And so when we come back now, it's going to be 2nd down, still 10 yards to go. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter of play. So Tennessee converting a turnover, and the strong arm of Peyton Manning have jumped on top here at the Gator Bowl, leading it 14-0. Tennessee with a 14-0 lead, and 2 freshmen, Manning and Nash, hooking up. It bodes well for the Volunteers for the next 3 years.
Yeah, but not for the rest of the SEC competition. I have to admit, I really have been very, very impressed with Peyton Manning. I mean, he's thrown all kinds of balls, and the coaches say he's no longer a freshman. He plays with incredible maturity. Maybe that's growing up in a football family with his father, Archie, who was such a great player himself. But the thing I like about him, he can do almost anything. Athletic enough to make guys miss. He's a tall guy, can see over players, and he can drill the ball when he has to.
Well, now, let me see. You have a few sons coming along. Bloodlines at my work, it worked for Archie.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I know Ryan, your son, in a race today, just blitzed you. I mean, he ran by you like you were nailed to the concrete.
But I had that tugboat speed going. He had to go 4-3 to beat me, though.
Yeah, right. 4-3, my eye. All kinds of handoffs everywhere. The reverse coming to Kendrick Jones, and Jones to the 50, to the 40. Kendrick Jones to the 25, and Jones to the 10, and tackled inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, did you see Jason Lehman, the left tackle, number 66? He was out there leaping around. I mean, he showed some pretty good speed. Oh, Jason.
Very well faked that time by Peyton Manning. 75 yards on the end-around reverse to Kendrick Jones.
Jason got a lot of exercise here. He's the guy ready. The reverse is going to come this way. He didn't really block anybody. He kind of threw the no-hitter there. But he really got a lot of exercise. He'll definitely have to take a shower after the game. But watch the speed of him. He's 287 pounds. The best left tackle in the SEC, maybe in the country. And again, when you have guys like that leading the way, defensive backs generally run away from you.
What effort. As an end result now, they're going to mark the ball at the 5, first and goal. And we have, right now, a delay in the action. We're going to have a timeout called. Timeout by Virginia Tech. We've just started the second quarter, and Tennessee threatening again, leading 14-0. Jones scrimmage for Tennessee. There earlier was 71 yards. Little man Stewart went 71 yards against Georgia, but Kendrick Jones went 75 yards to the 5-yard line.
Just when we talk about Tennessee being a methodical team this year, they come up with one big play after the long reverse to Kendrick Jones, a big catch by Joey Kent, long touchdown pass to Marcus Nash. So it has been a game of big plays thus far for Tennessee.
Nash, along with another freshman, Maurice Staley, split to the top of the field. First and goal at the 5. Tennessee waiting now while they set the ball at the 5-yard line. Volunteers, you might remember, have outscored their last 2 opponents 117-0, and they're continuing to mount the total. Here's a handoff, and running is Jay Graham, the sophomore, and Graham will take it inside the 5 to close to the 2-yard line. It'll be second and goal there. Waverly Jackson made the stop for Tech. They're going to mark it at the 3.
That was a good stop by Waverly Jackson. And Frank Beamer needs some sort of play by his defense. A turnover, and certainly, forcing a field goal at worst. With a 14-0 lead, the Volunteers are getting ready to blow this thing out.
They come out, everybody in tight. Second and goal from the 3. Diving straight ahead is Chester Ford, a sophomore out of Louisville. He's going to be close to the 1-yard line. It'll bring up third and goal. Chester Ford, a guy who they have high hopes for. They think he could be one of the best fullbacks they've had. They're going to mark it at the 2. Third and goal.
And the most important down of the game thus far for Virginia Tech.
Down 14-0. They need somehow to make them settle for the field goal.
Not a big defense. If they win this down, they're going to have to do it on penetration, stunts, and blitzes.
Everybody in tight again. Ford and Graham in the backfield. Gibbs straight ahead to Graham, and Graham is in. Touchdown, Tennessee.
That's a heck of a run because Hank Coleman, the defensive end for Virginia Tech, darted through and hit him early. Hit him early in the run, but Jay Graham just was determined, ran through it. And once again, Gary, over the left side. Kevin Mays, the left guard. Jason Lehman, the left tackle. They bring in Robert Poole as an extra tight end. And the offensive line has done a very nice job.
When they bring Poole in, they call it their Tarzan formation. Well, Tarzan got it done there. As a point after attempt to try to make it 21-0. And Tennessee looks like a team that has won 6 of their last 7. And have shut out their opponents 117-0 in the last 2. They are off the mark effectively here tonight. 5 plays, 80 yards. The big play, a 75-yard reverse by Kendrick Jones. And Jay Graham taking it in for the Volunteers, and they lead it 21-0. 21-0. Pat, you were talking about the effort by Jay Graham. Let's go back and look at it.
Yeah, this is really a determined run. Watch number 25. I mean, he really should have been stopped about the 2-yard line, but he kept churning and crawling and squeezing his way through and gets to the end zone. That is a great run. I mean, it's only a 2 or 3 yard run, but it's a great run because he should never have gotten in the end zone.
Well, he had 121 yards rushing in the last game against Vanderbilt. And now they've outscored their last 3 opponents 148-0, and they are on a roll right now, and somehow Virginia Tech's got to get this thing stopped. Graham with a touchdown there in the last 10 quarters.
Bring on the 49ers.
Now,
Break
wait a
this
minute.
team
Now,
up.
wait a minute. I don't think Archie Manning wants Peyton Manning playing the 49ers yet.
Well, you know, Virginia Tech, to get back in this football game, Gary, as they trailed 21 points, the defense has played okay. They've had some terrible field position, but the special teams are going to have to make a play, and this is where they've been pretty good this year.
Ryan Still will accept this kickoff. Nope, it's going to be shorter instead. Renal White will have it. White, one of the co-captains, will bring it out to the 24. Let's go down to Craig Sagan. Craig?
Well, Pat Hayden isn't the only one who understands the importance of having Antonio Freeman in the game, particularly on a crucial third down. So does the man calling the plays, Frank Beamer. He came over to the sideline, apologized to Freeman, said he had a rotation, left Jermaine Holmes in the game, but he said, get back in there, Freeman, because we're coming to you. Gary?
Well, I tell you, Craig, they need something going for him right now.
I don't understand why he's still on the bench.
He's not in this set as they come out with 3 wideouts. You see Freeman on the sideline. First down now at the 24. Gazo giving off. Bursting up the middle is Brian Edmonds, the fullback, and he's got a first down to the 41. First down at the 41-yard line. Dwayne Thomas cuts it against the green, stays on his feet to the 50 and knocks back there. By the way, Jonathan Brown is playing in place of Ben Talley, who went out earlier with the injury. He's a true freshman. Brian Edmonds, who made that run a moment ago, had a...
Larry Marmey is going to talk to him about. He's got to get his helmet on the other side of the ball carrier.
Tech with their best offensive effort thus far tonight. They got another first down on this one. Thomas to the 45 of Tennessee. So all of a sudden now Tech running right at him. And a I formation. Shazo will set it up at the 45-yard line. He's on the option. Now trying to throw, sprinting up the field. Looks like a quarterback draw the way he ended up running it, and he got a first down. And that's where he's the most dangerous. That's what concerns Tennessee, is when he pulls the ball down and takes off, and he picked up a first down. He is a very dangerous runner. The 35, second and inches. Pitch to Thomas, and Thomas has the first down inside the 30. Edmonds and Thomas in the backfield. First down inside the 35. Far side, complete. The catch made by Jermaine Holmes, and Holmes is tackled short of the 25. Be about the 26-yard line, a pickup of 7 on the play. Holmes was their third wideout all year long. He had 34 catches in the regular season of play. 7, second and 3. Gazo handing off straight ahead to Thomas. Thomas to the 25. He needs to get inside the 25 for the first down.
Gary, trailing by 21 points, I think Frank Beamer's thinking, you know, you have 2 downs to be able to get this play.
We approach 10 minutes to go in this first half. Tennessee with a 21-0 lead, but the best effort of the night for Virginia Tech. Ryan Still now checking out of the ball game. They bring in a double tight end alignment on a third and a yard to go. Thomas, and he is fighting for it, but he's not going to get it. It's going to be fourth down. Stuffed that time very well by Raymond Austin. Austin and Jester. Austin was a guy who was a starter earlier in the year, got hurt, never did get his job back, and this is Jester, a junior out of Delray Beach, Florida.
A really good short yardage defense. A lot of early penetration in the play. Jester, number 46, stuffs the guy. Makes a tackle there, gets some help from Raymond Austin, but that's all short yardage defense is getting guys in the backfield and penetration.
They're going to go for it. Fourth down, and they lost a little bit. It's fourth down, the long 2.
It's the right call by Frank Beamer. Down 21 points, you got to go for it.
Again, a double tight end alignment. DeShazo with a play action. He's going to try to run for it. He's got it. He's to the 20. Very nifty run as he's inside the 15 and knocked out of bounds.
Oh, he didn't play much backyard football. That was your play. Everybody just make the guy jump.
First down. Antonio Freeman has checked into the ball game now on this snap. First down inside the 15. And Edmonds, the fullback, short of the 10-yard line, stopped at the 11th. But Virginia Tech continues to move the football, trailing 21-0, trying to get back into the game. And here's Freeman, the guy we talked about. He has to make some big plays for Tech to win. Second down, 8 yards to go. Thomas, Edmonds in the backfield. DeShazo looking, taking off, scrambling to the 10, and ducks inside the 10 and the 9. He's got to have his head taken off by Scott Gallion, who's been flying up. He's up a couple of yards on the foot.
He was looking at Antonio Freeman that time, but well covered by Deron Jenkins, the corner for Tennessee. There's the matchup. Number 80, Freeman, against 18, Jenkins. He's looking from right here in the end, beginning to play on the out. He was open there in the corner, but DeShazo wasn't ready to throw it when he was open to the end zone because of the rush. You know, that's what timing is. When the receiver comes open, the quarterback has to be ready to throw, and the pass rush of Tennessee forced him to scramble.
3rd down, 6 from the 9. Holmes goes in motion from the shotgun. DeShazo with a screen complete to Thomas, and Thomas is going to get it. Looks like a 1st and goal. Let's see what they're going to mark it. Dwayne Thomas lunging forward. Tyrone Hines made the stop.
At the 10-yard line. You don't see that many down that part of the field.
1st and goal now from the 3-yard line. High, strong right. And hand off to Tommy Edwards. And Edwards, who has started a couple of ball games, the number 2 rusher for Virginia Tech. Play with. Again, they come out on high, strong left this time. 2nd and goal from the 2. Hand off to Thomas, and he kind of collided with DeShazo on the exchange, and they lost their forward momentum on the play.
Gary really surprised in that physically, Tennessee is a bigger football team. Now, they're running this power offense. You think you'd want to spread them out and try to create some holes because they don't match up size-wise with Tennessee, but they keep coming in with 2 tight end power backs, and they're getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage. You know, you spread them out a little bit. You give, you know, maybe an option play with Maurice DeShazo. Give him a chance on the perimeter of the defense.
3rd and goal at the 1. Tommy Edwards in motion, pitch to Thomas, fighting for the goal line. He's not going to get in. It's 4th down. That was Hines. Boy, Hines is everywhere. They think he could be another Hacksaw Reynolds, who is such an outstanding middle linebacker. You played with him in the Rams.
That's right. But Tyrone Hines, number 47, in the middle of the screen, right there, just meets him and refuses to let him in the end zone. Tyrone Hines is the kind of guy who wishes, you know, football games were double headers. Yeah. I mean, one game's not enough for him.
Play 2, right? Here we go. They're at the 3 or 4 inch line. 4th down. Izzo giving to Thomas, diving. He's in. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. They're on the board.
Big touchdown for Virginia Tech. And Frank Beamer was patient enough to run the ball 4 times down there, Gary, and run the ball 4 times to get it in there. Again, I'd much prefer, though, to see some option plays and some outside plays, perimeter plays, because of the physical matchups we see between Virginia Tech and Tennessee.
But they did get themselves going by running right at Tennessee. Ryan Williams now the point after attempt, kicking out of the hold of John Shields. Williams' kick is on the way, and it's a 21-7 game. That was a 76-yard drive in 16 plays. And Dwayne Thomas out of Fort Myers, Florida, net in midair by Hines, but he took it in. Tennessee 21-7. Tom Osborne wants to win that first national championship. He explains why.
Well, I think the main thing it means to me that...
They'll go against Miami, and they could win that national championship. At halftime, we'll have some thoughts about Penn State, Nebraska. Who's number 1? Who's going to win the national championship? As Craig Sager will take us through the halftime. 21-7 now. Virginia Tech on the board. That was a drive of 8 minutes and 6 seconds. Adel Larson kicking off. Going to be taken by Sean Summers, and Summers brings it across the 25 to the 26-yard line. So Tennessee was having things pretty much their way. They jumped to that 21-0 lead. Let's see how the offense has fired up the Virginia Tech defense as they come on the field.
Well, 5:11 remaining in the first half here, and uncharacteristic of their season this year, they've been by big plays. And now we have a new quarterback for Tennessee. We knew he was going to play. Brandon Stewart, also a freshman, and a very good one, Gary. A little different kind of quarterback, but a very strong player.
More of a mobile, dangerous runner guy. Moves around. He's got a good arm himself from Stephenville, Texas. And Stewart hands off to King Stewart, and Stewart not going anywhere. And you can see Virginia Tech now emotionally has turned this thing around. Ken Brown, 2nd down, 10.5 yards to go. Brandon Stewart, the quarterback, a true freshman. Play action by Stewart. He can run. He's to the 30, 35, 40. First down to the 45 and goes down at the 49-yard line. William Yarborough eventually caught up with him, and this is what he does so well. to put that ball under his arm. That's a 24-yard scramble by Brandon Stewart.
Well, where Peyton Manning is most dangerous when the ball leaves his hand, I think Brandon Stewart is most dangerous with the ball in his hand. I mean, he has a great feel for when he should throw it, when he should carry it. He's going to learn how to duck a little bit earlier sometimes, but I mean, this is a guy that can play almost anywhere in the country. And he's going to have a big decision about next season.
Yeah,
what he's gonna
can
do.
they keep two guys happy? And Manning and Stewart. Stewart this time throws far side to Joey Kent. A lot of running room to the 30, to the 25, and tackles inside the 25. Yarbrough again on the stop.
Hey, Gary, the offensive linemen set that thing up. I mean, we talked at the very beginning of the show, the offensive linemen have set the tone this entire season for Tennessee. And this quick screen to Joey Kent. Watch at the right side gets out there. You're going to see number 74, Jeff Smith, 75, Ratliff gets out there, Bubba Miller, number 71, gets out. They cleared the way and allowed Joey Kent to jump through a little crease there to pick up the first down.
27-yard gain to the 24-yard line of Tech. So Tennessee comes rumbling right back. Handoff to Stewart. Stewart inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
Now, one thing we didn't talk about as I watched number 71, Bubba Miller, the right guard for Tennessee, is that, you know, there's a thing called the Bubba Index. And we talked about the Bubba Index. It seems to be in football. The team that always has the guys, more guys named Bubba, has the greater chance of winning. And right now, Tennessee has one Bubba. Virginia Tech has no Bubba.
I want to check that out. I'm not really convinced that that's true. I think you made that up.
No.
Second down and 5. Bubba's their bell cow. They love the guy. Here's the handoff to Stewart to the 10, 5, and he's going to be short of the goal line. Stopped at the 1. Stewart showing how quickly he can get outside. That's an 18-yard run, and Tennessee got fired up after having their lead cut.
You know, this is amazing. Virginia Tech is a good defensive football team, particularly, Gary, and maybe not overpowering offense, but defensively they're awfully good. But the Tennessee Volunteers have had their way in the passing game and the running game. We saw power earlier by James Stewart. That time it was just a great move on the defensive back end. It was Larry Green, and then he outran some guys in the corner. Boy,
they've had some big plays on this drive. Handoff to Stewart. Stewart's in, and Tennessee has just marched quickly. At a 24-yard scramble by Stewart, a 27-yard completion, an 18-yard run by Stewart, and Stewart just took it in.
Well, it's been a wonderful life. Right into Pottersville.
You can make that into a movie, I think. 27-7. Well, they kind of got Tennessee's attention again, I think, after that last drive.
But you also understand why Phil Fulmer is not really too concerned about playing Brandon Stewart, the number 1.5 quarterback, or 1A, if you will.
And my thought is, can you keep two quarterbacks happy?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
Point after 10. Beckford, who's never missed one his entire career at Tennessee, just hit another one. 28-7, the Vols. Tennessee moving the ball 74 yards in a minute and 55 seconds. 28-7, Brandon Stewart took only a minute and 55 seconds, marched his team 70 yards in 6 plays. And Peyton Manning earlier got him off to a great start. Craig Sager will bring us up to date on today's bowl action throughout the country. We'll also look ahead to this weekend when Nebraska Penn State will stake their claim after it all. Kickoff now to Brian Still. It's going to be the short man, the up back again, Renal White. And White will bring it out to the 22 and out of bounds there. So Tech now down 28-7, 3:16 left in this first half.
And 2 timeouts remaining, and you know, again, Antonio Freeman has not caught the ball yet. They've had some nice plays in the passing game by Jermaine Holmes in particular, but you would think Antonio Freeman, the guy with all the big play capabilities in the passing game. Give Tennessee's defense, though, some credit, Gary. They have done a nice job of taking away Antonio Freeman and disrupting the rhythm. When he's been open, DeShazo hasn't been ready to throw.
First down now for Tech as they start at their own 23. DeShazo on a play action. Got some running room. He has the ball come loose. It's loose at the 32, and Tennessee, I think, has it. Tennessee comes up with a football. DeShazo stripped. It was Tyrone Hines, 47, who stripped the ball, and George Kidd, who came up with a fumble recovery.
Okay, George Kidd did a great job in 2 ways, Gary. First of all, he took Antonio Freeman away. He's going to be right here. He's going to look right in, and watch, the first thing he does is take the crossing route away from Antonio Freeman. He sees it, he goes right to number 80, says, "You're my guy. I'm not going to let you catch the ball." Then he comes up and makes the recovery. A good play by middle linebacker Hines, but a great play by George Kidd.
George Kidd, he shares that linebacking spot, as they've had all year long a battle for that starting spot. He shares it with Jesse Sanders. Whoever grades best in one game starts the next game. And here is a pass completion to Stewart, and Stewart inside the 25 to the 24. And Brandon Stewart, showing an arm himself that time, he threw that one Stewart to Stewart, picking up the play and the yardage inside the 25.
You know, Brandon Stewart, I find somewhat unusual in that most quarterbacks that have a lot of running ability don't have touch and certainly don't throw deep balls well. But Brandon Stewart has the capability of not only to run, which we saw tonight, to throw the ball with finesse and throw the ball accurately down the field.
Southwest Player of the Year in high school a year ago, Jay Graham, able to get to the 20. That'll be a first down for Tennessee, as we have now 2:29. The clock stopped to move the chains as Tennessee just continues to move. Ken Brown made the stop that time on Jay Graham. We have a man shaken up. That is Brown. Brown getting up. As we mentioned, he's had a hamstring problem. 28-7 as Brown walks off, and we want to switch venues for a moment. We'll be in Sacramento on Tuesday, the Suns and Kings. And what makes this game road against the Sacramento team, one of the most improved teams in the NBA this year.
Going to dump me for Jack Gibbons, huh? I know a little bit of a basketball.
Going to shed you like a bad dream and pick up Jack Gibbons. I can't wait.
Geez.
Boy, this is the last time I'm going to work with you this year.
Hey, for a guy who thinks Velcro is complicated, you know, don't give me such a hard time.
From the 20-yard line, first down. Frank Beamer needs a stop. His team down 28-7. Hand off to Stewart. He's going to throw. He threw a touchdown pass this year, and he got another one. Kendrick Jones, he had a 14-yard touchdown pass against Mississippi State in the regular season, and Stewart, 2 for 2, comes back this time, and he gets his second of the year.
Well, you know, he's had 13 rushing touchdowns. He's caught 3 touchdowns this year, and now thrown 2 touchdown passes. A versatile James Stewart gives the Vols a 34-7 lead. And, you know, they have done it with big plays, Gary, in all phases of the game.
Well, this point after now would set a Gator Bowl record. The most points scored in the first half was 34 by Oklahoma against Virginia, 91. This would be 35, and Beckport does that. We've had a couple of records. That was the first one earlier. The longest run of 70 yards by James Mosley of Texas Tech back in 73 was shattered when Kendrick Jones went 75 yards. So Tennessee is breaking record after record in this first half.
But, you know, that was a pretty good throw by James Stewart, Gary, because Kendrick Jones wasn't wide open. Ordinarily on these kind of passes, you know, you fool some, a guy comes wide open, but he is guarded by number 9, Antonio Banks, and nice touch pass by James Stewart. You know, good coverage there by Banks, and Kendrick Jones just kind of takes it away from him. And Kendrick Jones really has been kind of the unsung hero, I think, for this Tennessee team this season. Good adjustment.
Well, they really like him. He's the guy who many people thought was too short.
Geez, hope they don't score 60 points. What do they do against the Vanderbilt?
You know, if you would get down there, you'd get in shape. You need to do that more often.
Working. Yeah.
Get down there and do some push-ups and set-ups.
Smoky down there.
You know, you'd look more, you know, you'd have that
More
kind
like
of muscle tone like Herschel Walker, who does. How many set-ups?
1,500 sit-ups a day.
Yeah, well, you might do that in a year.
In a good year. Year's resolution coming up.
Yeah, right. 35-7. I'm not convinced at all times. White's going to return another kickoff, and he'll bring it out to the 27-yard line, as this has been a very impressive first half by Tennessee. Look out, SEC. This young Tennessee team, they're going to be something next year.
Well, in the Big East, too, Virginia Tech has a very young team. Yeah, they have to replace some key players in DeShazo and Freeman, but I don't think they have anybody on defense playing right now that is graduated, other than Ken Brown.
Yeah, he started, I think. I'm not sure if he's in the first snap, but he's the only senior that Virginia Tech had in that starting 11. First down from the 27. DeShazo, far side, complete, and they finally get the ball to Antonio Freeman. And Freeman, second down and 3. You see the time remaining in the first half. DeShazo this side and completes it to Sean Scales. And Scales, who is playing because of an injury to Cornelius White, makes the stop, or should say continue from the 38. DeShazo again. Comes out throwing, complete to Jermaine Holmes, and he is belted. That is Terry Fair, the true freshman, whose brother Brian plays basketball for the Connecticut Huskies, and he just nailed him and drilled him backwards.
He said, don't come over here. Then he gets a big old piece of Florida field in his helmet.
Second down and 6. A minute 12, the clock running. Again, Virginia Tech with 2 timeouts remaining. DeShazo scrambling around, dumps it off again. This is complete to Ken Oxidine. He's a true freshman. So they're ready to go again. First down at their own 49. A minute 2 now left in the half. There's a little shovel pass ahead to Oxidine. Oxidine, who's had those 2 big runs, moves inside the 45. Oxidine had a run of 62 yards against Syracuse. 40 seconds left in the half. DeShazo. Who was that intended for? I guess Freeman.
Yeah. He had some steam.
Third down. 3 yards to go. DeShazo. Complete. The catch is made by Brian Still, and Still out of bounds. Stops the clock at the 19.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, he went out of bounds.
Perfect throw, though, and on time. And that was a big thing tonight. It was the first really big deep throw on time.
DeShazo having pressure, double pumps it, dumps it off, complete to Dwayne Thomas. He'll be tackled just about at the 15-yard line. Again out of bounds, or did he get out? Yes, an official's timeout. It'll be second down and 6 for Tech from the 15-yard line. 4 yards on that last play. 35-7. Tech trails. 23 seconds left in the half. From the shotgun, DeShazo. Second and 6. Quarterback draw. DeShazo trying to get out of bounds, and he does. Stops the clock at the 10-yard line. 18 seconds.
Well, the key thing here, though, Gary, is third down. I mean, right
the yard to get that first down. DeShazo to Thomas. He's got the first down. He's got the first and goal. He takes it. Holmes comes in motion. DeShazo scrambling around. He has it deflected, and it's going to go incomplete. Almost intercepted. There is a flag on the play. 6 seconds left in the half.
I think it was Deron Jenkins, who tipped the ball and saved the touchdown, Gary. That was a great defensive play because it should have been a touch. I think originally it was supposed to be a quarterback draw, and then DeShazo was scrambling around.
We may have had an offensive lineman illegally downfield.
Because I think it's a quarterback draw. It was a quarterback draw play. And that's why offensive linemen, they're expecting run, draw all the way. That's why Conatee, number 61 in the middle of the screen, is downfield. And then he's going to tip it, and then a great play there, really, by Jenkins to tip it away.
He's their best cover linebacker, and you saw his athleticism as he got up. They're going to try a field goal now with 6 seconds left. Would you take another shot at it?
Down 35-7, Gary, I would. I mean, I throw one ball in the end zone. I still think if you didn't get it, you have a chance.
27-yard attempt by Ryan Williams, an all-Big East performer. He was second in scoring in the Big East. The kick up by Ryan Williams, and the kick is good. And Virginia Tech cuts it to 35-10 with 3 seconds left here in the first half. And once again, and a little bit difficult to see, as kicking off now will be Larson. 3 seconds left now in this first half of play. He's going to squib it along the ground. Going to be picked up by Billy Williams, and Williams will bring it out to the 30, and Williams will be tackled at the 33, and we come to the end of the first half. We have a Virginia Tech player shaken up on that kickoff return, and that is going to be Danny Osborne, a safety, a backup safety, who is shaken up for the Gobblers. So we have played halfway through this Gator Bowl in Gainesville, Florida. And Tennessee with an impressive first half leading 35-10. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Coach, a record-breaking first half, 35 points on the board. I mean, what do you tell this team at halftime?
Well, I'm really pleased with their start, but you saw what happened right there at the end. Virginia Tech took it down a little bit too easy to almost get a score there, or got a score. So I'm anxious to see us run the football better and run the clock some and continue making some of the big plays. But our defense needs to hold them. That one drive running the football well, and then that one throwing the football well. We need to tighten up a little bit.
Your last 2.5 ball games, you've outscored your opponents 152-10. You guys are on a roll.
But we're playing well right now. We've improved a lot. Obviously, our two young quarterbacks are talented guys, and we're looking forward to the second half of this one.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Gary Bender.
Craig, thank you very much. So probably not the way you want to finish that first half, but Coach Fulmer has an awfully lot of good things to talk about at intermission. 35-10. Stay with us at halftime. Craig Sager with a feature on who's number one, who's going to win the national championship. Much 35-10 at the halfway point. 331 yards in offense for Tennessee, a new Gator Bowl record for points and a half, 35, and coming from every direction.
It really was. I mean, they did a little bit of everything the first half, the running game, the big passing games, they had the reverses, special teams plays, and Tennessee looked awfully good in that first half. Again, a pretty good Virginia Tech defense.
Well, Virginia Tech is going to have to make some adjustments. We're going to show you one of the outstanding plays of this game. Look at this effort by Kent.
Yeah, Joey Kent early in the ball game, and again, the ball thrown out in front of him, but a diving catch and a great one. This was all armed by Peyton Nash, the freshman. And that was a heck of a throw by him. Then the reverse to Kendrick Jones.
This, by the way, the longest run in Gator Bowl history, 75 yards.
Yeah, and Lehman, the big old left tackle out there in front of him.
And then halfback turn quarterback.
Yeah, Stewart, again, a well-thrown ball, I thought, because he was pretty well covered. And they've done it on offense. They've played some pretty good defense. They've had some real good special teams as well. Tennessee has deserved to lead this football game, because they've done everything right.
So in the last 10 quarters, the Volunteers have outscored their opponent 152-10. We'll be back with a second half from Gainesville and the Gator Bowl in just a moment.
Well, out of the locker room, Frank Reamer, what'd you tell your kids down 35-10 at intermission?
Well, we run into a football team here that's playing very well, and we've allowed too many long plays. They're playing well, and we've helped them. You know, we've got a second half to play. We moved the ball there at the end of the first half. We got a second half to play.
Antonio Freeman, your big play receiver, caught only one pass, and that was towards the end of the first half. Why isn't he touching the ball more?
Well, Maurice got off to a little bit of a shaky start there, and we had some things we were going to try to get to him earlier, but we're still going to try and get him the ball. That's very much in our game plan to get him the football.
Well, I'll make Pat Hayden happy. He's been calling for Freeman all night.
Well,
Let's go back to Pat and Gary.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. There is Antonio Freeman, the all-time leading receiver in Virginia Tech history. As you know, Tennessee won the toss. They deferred, so they'll get the football as we start the second half of play.
Yeah, so it starts with the Virginia Tech defense, Gary. I mean, we talked about adjustments. I think this defense has to take a few more chances, force a turnover. If they don't force a turnover, I don't think they can win this football game.
And meanwhile, they got to quit turning the ball over themselves. They had 2 turnovers in the first half. Larson to kick off, the native from Norway, a transfer from Morehead State, and he'll get into this one. Sean Summers is back deep along with Billy Williams. It'll be Williams that'll bring it out. Williams was hurt most of the year for Tennessee. The senior is tackled at the 13. That was Spinner, the starting cornerback, down on special teams. We have another Virginia Tech player down. As you look at that first half, 331 yards in the first half.
Virginia Tech had a pretty good offensive first half, too, actually with 204 yards, but look at the rushing yards, 155 yards by Tennessee. We said it started with their offensive line, and the quarterbacks, the running backs can't do anything unless the offensive line does their thing. Time of possession actually held by Virginia Tech, but it's a meaningless stat when the Volunteers score 35 points.
And there's that tandem of quarterbacks, what they were able to accomplish in the first half. Young guns, I tell you, if I could make people outdraw them.
And the guy shaken up was Ken Landrum. They're waiting for him to be assisted off the field, and he's a little groggy right now. As the fog continues to get a little more dense here, they're going to have the line of scrimmage at the 13 as we start this second half. Tennessee with a 35-10 lead. They led at one time 21-0. Peyton Manning, the quarterback, he gives it to little man Stewart, and little man's on his way to the 20 and tackled to the 21.
Yeah, that's a great way to start the second half if you're a Tennessee Volunteer. You give the ball to number 33, James Stewart, and let him pick up 8 yards. I mean, he had a very productive first half himself, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns, good power runner, showing some change of pace.
Well, that change of pace got him 8 yards. Torian Gray eventually made the stop.
Again, Virginia Tech on defense can't overpower them. They have to stunt, they have to blitz, force a turnover.
Peyton Manning again. Stewart, very nifty. Comes across the 25, has a first down to the 27. Tony Morrison, number 8, now playing in place of the injured Ken Brown, and George Del Rico, their leading tackler on the stop.
Phil Fulmer, when he was talking to Craig Sager right before halftime, said, hey, we're going to come out in a second. We want to run the football. And when you have a 35-10 lead, obviously that's what you're thinking about, Gary. And here's, again, where that offensive line can win a football game for you or protect a lead like they are when they have a 35-10 lead now. You can use that offensive line, run behind those guys, and really eat up a lot of clock.
Maybe the best offensive line in college football. There's Stewart. And Stewart again out to the 30-yard line. A gain of 3, almost 4. Barron Spinner made the stop. So Tech needs to get this thing shut down. They cannot allow Tennessee to eat up the clock and continue to move the football, and they have moved it so well thus far in this game.
Remember James Stewart, I mean, we think about 15, I'd say 13 rushing touchdowns now. He has caught 3 touchdowns this year, thrown 2 touchdowns. This guy is a versatile player.
Yes, he is. Second down and 7. Manning delivers the ball on target. The guy getting a lot of playing time. Marcus Nash able to make that catch. And let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, Ken Brown, the outstanding linebacker for Virginia Tech, is through for the night. He re-aggravated that hamstring. We will see him again later this year, though. He's going to be playing in the East-West Shrine game, and he also has an invitation to the Hula Bowl and also has his plans on the NFL. But he's out for the second half here tonight.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. The all-Big East performer. And he tried to play with a hamstring, but no go from here on. As we come to a 3rd down and 4, and Virginia Tech needs to stop him here. Peyton Manning, far side. He threw that ball a long ways, but is it enough for the first down? The catch was made. Maurice Staley, a freshman, a true freshman from Charlotte, made the catch. Let's see if he got the first down. They did.
You're right, that ball was in the air a long time for a 4-yard gain, Gary. Dangerous throw, but on 3rd and 4, a big cushion. I believe it was an audible by Peyton Manning. We've seen him play very well in the first half, throwing the football, that time using his head. Saw a big cushion, just threw a quick little hitch out there to his receiver, Maurice Staley, for a first.
Frank Beamer doesn't like what he sees. Peyton Manning showing that arm, that rifle that he has.
Well, Frank Beamer, I would be too pleased with what I saw as well. Down 35-10. Tennessee has done everything offensively.
First down from the 37 now. Peyton Manning rolling out, finds his man. This is Joey Kent, and Kent goes out of bounds. There's a flag thrown after the play. Joey Kent out of Huntsville, Alabama. He was hurt this week. He sprained his ankle, stepped on somebody's foot, but able to play. It's going to be against Tennessee.
So Joey Kent, Gary, plays that slot receiver for Tennessee a lot, and over the years, all the great Tennessee receivers they've had that everybody's always talked about, they always played that slot, and that's the key receiver, a key position for Tennessee.
Isn't it interesting, Pat? You see a traditions of schools, and the wide receivers have the tradition at Tennessee.
Offense, 15 yards, still first down.
They called that on Joey Kent, but he was the slot receiver there. But,
well, at USC, you had the tailbacks. Of course, Tennessee also has a reputation as a very good offensive line school. They have a couple of #1 draft picks playing in the NFL right now.
17 offensive linemen have gone to the pros the last 11 years. Phil Fulmer, a a dominating offensive lineman in the zone right in his years past at Tennessee. That's what he said, right? Did he think he was a dominating player?
No, I don't think he said that. He said, I couldn't even play today. 1st and 25 after the penalty. We're underway now. Second half, 11:54 remaining in the third. Handoff comes now to Stewart, and Stewart able to bring it to the 27-yard line and tackle there. Boy, it's really starting to get foggy here again, and I'm starting to think we may have a replay of 2 years ago.
Gary, you and that sunny disposition of yours always bringing up the good news.
There it is.
What are you doing for New Year's Eve? You going to a bunch of old all-night Swedish films to kind of pick yourself up?
I might, or I might just watch the sunrise come up the next day. Who knows? I haven't really thought about it. So I can get away from you. Second down and 20 yards to go. Here's Peyton Manning again. Up top, Kent is down there, overthrown. Pretty good coverage that time by Spinner, the redshirt freshman out of Bedford, Virginia. Also, Yarborough was over there, but it was Spinner. Spinner's done a pretty good job, and that is an area of great concern was that quarterback spot, and they decided to start this guy for the first time.
You mentioned it too, William Yarborough, number 24, the free safety. Boy, did he cover a lot of ground there to help Spinner out on the play.
That's only the second incomplete pass to Peyton Manning. Does that tell you something about how effective he's been in this ball game? 8 of 10, 130 yards and a touchdown. And a true freshman. Third down and 20. Manning over the middle, and the catch is made by Kendrick Jones. He's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down. George Del Rico, who was tied for second in the Big East in tackles this year, made the stop that'll bring up a fourth down.
And when Peyton Manning stands up in the pocket, you notice them, all 6'5" of them, and watch the way he sees the field. And he's looking left and comes back to the right. Every ball you've seen him throw tonight, in his 9 of 11, as we mentioned, have been right in the numbers. I mean, this guy is an accurate thrower and can throw the ball with some power.
Freeman, they need a big play from him. Number 1, the Big East in punt returns. He'll field this one, a flag on the play as Hutton gets into this one. Freeman, no fair catch, and he's going to be tackled at the 16-yard line. Kendrick Jones was one of the first to get down there. As we mentioned, a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
The thing is, too, Gary, the Hokies have blocked 4 kicks this year. 2 punts, 2 kicks. They'll be against Tennessee. And, it might be the time to really go after a punt. At this point in the game, trailing 35-10, 10:21 remaining in the third quarter, you have to make something happen on special teams, or defense has to cause a turnover. Frank Beamer, an excellent special teams coach, felt they had a chance, perhaps, of blocking a punt or a kick.
Yeah, they really are a good special teams club. You mentioned the block kicks. They also led the Big East in punt returns, kickoff returns. Ryan Williams, the second in scoring in the field goal department.
Less than 7 men on the line.
Steven is back. Hutton will punt it. 9 guys up on the line. Snap, and they seal it off well. Not a very good punt this time, though. Not near as good as the other one. Freeman makes a fair catch at the 25-yard line. So they come away a lot better there. They had it at the 16-yard line, and after assessing the penalty, they'll start this drive from the 25. We'll come back. Tennessee with the lead. And some of the volunteer fans here, some from Boston and some of the other areas, as the Vols with a 35-10 lead, but Tech right now could really make a move. They have the football. They shut down Tennessee at the start of the second half. They have the ball, good field position at the 25-yard line. Shazo, in that first half, he had 1 fumble and suffered 1 interception. You see his numbers. His best asset was his scrambling ability, pulling it down, a quarterback draw, scrambling around, did a very effective job.
And this is their most important series right now. It'll set the tempo for this whole second half. If they're going to get back in the game, I think it's going to be on the arms and legs of Maurice DeShazo, and still trying to find a way to get the ball to Freeman.
Edmonds and Thomas will be in the backfield. 10:14 to go in the third. Gator Bowl from Gainesville as they renovate the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, getting ready for the beginning of the NFL season next year. Here's a roll out by DeShazo, throwing up the field, a wide open man, and the catch is made by still as he has the first down catch at the 44. Did a nice job staying in bounds and making the catch, an 18-yard gain.
Yeah, the thing about Brian Still, number 17, is you get the ball anywhere near him, and he'll make the adjustment to catch it. He's got a great ability and a great sense of catching it, and then he dots the eye with the feet, stays in bounds. I mean, you talk about adjusting to the ball in the air, and Brian Still does just a great job of that.
18-yard gain to the 43.5-yard line of Tech. DeShazo straight back. Now going deep. Far side, the ball is up and incomplete, intended for Freeman. And there's a penalty flag.
Maybe offensive.
Jason Parker defending on the play for Tennessee. There's Parker, number 7.
Jason Parker thinks it's offensive, and it looked like Freeman pushed him. Again, the ball thrown late because of the rush. Yeah, they're going to call on Freeman. I think it's a good call. But the ball thrown late because of the rush. They have been out of rhythm because Tennessee has been in DeShazo's face. When he comes open, he's not ready to throw. There's the push. Good call by the official. Jason Parker's played well on the option game, on the tackle, and then deep play there. You know, free safety playing against an option quarterback. I mean, you have your hands full, and Jason Parker's done a very nice job.
Pass interference, offense, 15 yards from the previous spot, still first down.
Well, you talk about Jason Parker. Larry Marmee, the Tennessee defensive coordinator, said he's the guy that we could least afford to lose. He makes all the calls in the secondary. He's the guy who they just can't replace at that free safety spot. He's a junior out of Garland, Texas. He was the second leading tackler on this team. First down out to the 15-yard line, 1st and 25. DeShazo on the option. Pitches back. Thomas to the 40, and he gets 10 of those yards back. Make it 15 yards as he brings it to the original line of scrimmage. Pretty good job that time, running to the short side of the field. DeShazo, a good timing on the pitch. And again, that's what he did so well a year ago. Outstanding option quarterback, a team that piled up the points a year ago.
Well, it's a good perimeter team. A year ago, they ran over 150 option plays. This past year, only about 40. But they're going back more and more to that 1993 offense tonight.
Second down and 9 yards to go. DeShazo over the middle, and the catch is made. No, Freeman, or did he?
Yeah,
one of the guys said no, but it is.
That was the defender.
And Freeman makes a fine catch, so he comes back after the penalty a moment ago, and he's letting his emotions be felt. He's the guy that could bring him back.
Yeah, give him a chance. Let him adjust to the ball if he has to, because he can, just like Still can go down and make adjustments. So can Freeman. That was a catch all the way. But that's the ball. If you get out in front of him, Gary, he catches on the run full speed. He runs another 10, 15, 20 yards.
17-yard pickup on the play to the 39 of Tennessee. DeShazo right up the field, wide open. He overthrew his intended receiver, Freeman, or he'd had 6.
Wide open for a touch. And again, down 35-10, those are the plays you have to make, and DeShazo knows it. When you get 1 or 2 opportunities like that a game, where you have a guy running wide open, and Freeman was. He had just a little bit too much air, had time to get the ball to him. Thank you. Good effort by Freeman, but that should have been a touchdown pass for Virginia Tech.
So all of a sudden now, the go-to guy, they're going to it. Second down, 10 from the 39. 8:56 left in the third. DeShazo keeps it, pitches it, and down the sideline goes Thomas. He's inside the 15, and did he stay in bounds? I don't know how he did. He caught that pitch, stayed in bounds, headed up the field, and his forward progress is going to be marked at the 13-yard line. First down, Virginia Tech, 27 yards on the play.
You're going to see Maurice DeShazo set up the corner, number 13, Terry Fair, beautifully. And this has been the best sequence of plays all night for the Hokies. 13, right there. Makes him commit to the run, then he pitches the ball back to Dwayne Thomas. And again, now they have something going. They're getting the passing game going. They're throwing the ball to Freeman. Some should have a touchdown. Then they get the option plays running. This is what they do well.
They're in rhythm right now. From the 12, first down, handoff straight ahead to Edmonds, the fullback. He's able to chug his way to the 11-yard line, a pickup of 2. It'll bring up second down. Shane Burton, number 84 on the stop. But DeShazo, you can just tell now, he's playing with some confidence. And that last option, he ran it so efficiently.
Quarterback, so much of it is confidence, Gary. Just getting the feel, and had a mixed first half, but once you hit a couple plays, once you get that guy to the perimeter and you're in scoring position, I think you start feeling good that maybe you can get it done.
2nd and 8. Again, the option to Shazo, pitching to Thomas. Thomas going to be tackled in the open field. That's a fine tackle by Terry Fair. The true freshman open field stop on Thomas.
Well, remember a couple plays before, DeShazo had really got the better of Terry Fair. This time, Fair does his job particularly well. Gallia, number 93, forced the pitch. Good open field tackle by Fair. That's about the 4th or 5th good open field tackle by Terry Fair. He played real well.
Outstanding athlete. He high jumped 6'8" in high school. To give you an idea, you see the drive, the numbers thus far. 3rd down, 6. Shazo, and that ball's up and incomplete, almost intercepted. Gallion had a hand on it. The deflection almost picked off by Parker. Ball's incomplete, and it brings up a 4th down.
That's a poor throw. I mean, I don't know whether that ball was thrown to Freeman or Dwayne Thomas, but whomever it was thrown to was not open. He felt that the ball was deflected earlier in the route.
Yeah, I think Gallion got a hand on it, Pat, further up the field.
There were 2 or 3 orange defenders in front of Antonio Freeman.
So on a 4th and 6, they're going to go for it. Down 35 to 10.
And again, DeShazo is still available to run the quarterback option, the draw.
He has the ball, rolling, looking, double pumping, on his feet, scrambling to the 5. DeShazo, touchdown, Virginia Tech.
Oh, is that a great play? Is that a great play by Maurice DeShazo?
He ran out of a tackle of Steve White, and DeShazo has brought Virginia Tech back. They're in this football game.
That's a strong run by Maurice DeShazo.
Missed it. The point after, and it's 35-16. Let's go back to this great run by DeShazo.
So Frank Beaver,
35-16 Tennessee was 7:03 left in the 3rd, but Virginia Tech, led by DeShazo's 8-yard scamper, climbing back into this football game. They did miss the point after.
That wasn't a scamper, that was a power run.
A power run?
Power run, right through the tackle of Steve White. That was a heck of a power run.
Scamper and a power run. How's that?
Thank you.
Larson kicking off now. It's going to be taken by Billy Williams. Williams across the 15, out to the 17. Let's go back to the power run by DeShazo.
And good vision by DeShazo. It was a designed pass play to his right. Now, what they like to do is get
to the 17-yard line. That is where Virginia will have it. Billy Williams was shaken up on that kickoff return. Tennessee getting a lot of people banged up in this ball game. Early in the game, Ilo Sylvan went out with a broken ankle. And here is Williams, who's been hurt most of the year. He's come off the field. 1st down, Tennessee. Flag on the play. Peyton Manning up the field. Oh, what a hit put on Kendrick Jones. And they're going to rule that a fumble or incomplete. They're ruling incomplete. Boy, did he take a shot from William Yarborough, number 24. Ouch. This is a collision.
Ouch. First of all, it's a heck of a throw by Manning.
Offside against Virginia Tech, but we're going to show you a collision.
Say, you remember we talked about ropes? I mean, he was open, but not for very long. But when you have a gun like that, you can sling it in there. Oh, I say, I give Kendrick Jones some credit for just trying to go after the ball after he takes a hit. If you keep it going, you'll see him still. Mouth guard comes out, and he's still going after the ball.
Defense lined up in the neutral zone, 5 yards, repeat 1st down.
Tremendous hit by Yarborough. Had 4 interceptions this year. 2nd team All Big East from Newport News, Virginia.
You know, better situated at free safety than a corner, Gary, because he has a lot of range. We saw it on a deep ball earlier in the game, and there he comes over with a huge collision.
1st and 5 now after the penalty, and Virginia Tech is fired up. That is Del Rico, their leading linebacker, the middle linebacker for the Gobblers, and that's going to move it back inside the 20 to the 19. And this game's starting to pivot a little bit.
Okay, George Del Rico came into this game right here with 130 tackles, which is absolutely astounding. Just fights off the lead block. And the thing about George Del Rico, maybe guys that have some more athleticism than he does, but a guy who wants to play, has a passion for the game, and loves to play every down. That's what you have in George Del Rico, and he made a very nice play there.
So after a 1st and 5, it now goes to 2nd and 9, and there's a reverse. The pitch coming to Nash, and Nash is only going to get to the 20-yard line. They stayed home, and all of a sudden, this Tech team is reacting well. Simonis, that is Brendan Simonis, who's the nephew of Frank Beamer. Over to keep that one from being turned up the field. So it's 3rd down and still 9 yards to go. Brendan Simonis.
That's a heck of a play. Earlier in the game, remember they ran that thing for 70-some-odd yards, the reverse play, but Simonis stays at home. You know, the defensive coordinator, Phil Macian, said, hey, he's Division 1A from the neck up. This guy is really smart. Didn't have a lot of ability, but never will make a mistake. He didn't there. Did his job.
Well, he and Del Rico both emotionally play as hard as you can play this football game, and now the official's going to hold it up for a little bit.
And Gary, right now, another big down for Virginia Tech. I mean, they fight and scratch and claw their way back in the game. It's 35-16. They've got some momentum going, but here's right now where the defense has to hold and give Maurice DeShazo another shot.
3rd down and 7 now for the Vols. They lead 35-16. Manning trying to set up a screen over the middle. He completes it to Moses Phillips, and Phillips got out of there and got the 1st down. Moses Phillips out to the 35, a 14-yard gain, and Peyton Manning hanging tough in the pocket.
So close to being a sack by Samoa. Brandon Samoa, number 21, almost gets there. But again, a freshman with the poise and arm strength. I mean, as he's falling to the ground, able to find Moses Phillips as fullback, and fullback's probably a wrong term for Moses Phillips. This guy is a receiver, very good receiver out of the backfield, and that is a big play for the Volunteers.
So on a 3rd and 7, they come out of there with a 14-yard screen over the middle. 1st down now to 34. 3 wideouts. Manning going up top, far side. The ball is up, and Billy Williams, far sideline, trying to come up with a grab, defending on the play very effectively on the far side. That was Antonio Banks, who has been moved to the cornerback spot after playing free safety all year long.
I'll tell you what, Gary, even when Peyton Manning misses, he doesn't miss by much. I mean, I think, you know, a year ago he was playing in high school, 18 years old now, and he's playing in the SEC. I still think the toughest division, toughest conference in college football, and played superbly this year.
2nd down, 10. Manning play action, throwing a bullet, and no one can get to that one. I think Nash was the closest. You talk about a rope. That ball was on a line, and nobody could get to that one.
Yeah, the old greasy pork chop past the hungry wolf throw.
Oof. There's no question this guy has a major league arm.
The man could throw a greasy pork chop past the hungry wolf.
I'm trying to ignore that. I can't believe you'd say that. 3rd down now, 10 yards to go. You can see 4 of 7 on 3rd down tonight for the Vols. Here comes the blitz. Manning reads it, scampering around. He's going to run, and he's going to get the 1st down to the 50. He's to the 40, to the 35, and tackled from behind. And what a job by a guy who's supposed to be a pocket passer. He comes out there 32 yards.
Go, Archie. It looked like Archie Manning in that run. I tell you, the blitz by Tony Morrison, number 8 for the Hokies. He kind of got caught up in traffic and never was able to get to Manning. And he's number 8. Kind of tripped over some people. He was blocked by actually one of his own guys. But Peyton Manning doing his Brandon Stewart imitation. This guy, you know, for a big guy, he's 6'5", 207 pounds. He's an athlete. He can move pretty doggone well.
Boy, his dad, Archie, could run as Phillips just short of the 30-yard line. Going to go back and take another look at this scramble by Peyton Manning.
Yeah, but watch, I think it's actually Simonis, the teammate of Tony Morrison, number 8, who knocks him off. Otherwise, Morrison may very well get there. And sometimes when you have a blitzing, penetrating type of team that, like Virginia Tech does, I mean, you're going to run into your own guys and knock each other off.
Boy, you look back at that 3rd and 7. It was big, wasn't it? Now 2nd and 7 at the 31 of Virginia Tech. Hand off to Stewart, and Stewart runs into a wall that time. They had him on a 3rd and 7. They came up with a little screen over the middle to Mose Phillips, and Tennessee's continued on. Cornell Brown on the stop that time. Going to bring up now 3rd down and still 8 yards to go.
Yeah, another one of those big 3rd down drives. I mean, so far Peyton Manning has been superb on 3rd down. I mean, when the game has been on the line, he has really responded, and yet the Virginia Tech defense has a chance to give their team an opportunity to really make this a very good football game with 3:48 left in the 3rd quarter.
3:45 now, clock running. Manning, play action, scrambling around, gets away from Spinner, throws up the field, and Joey Kent, I don't think he had it. It hit the ground. Again, though, you got to give Manning a lot of credit. He had heat coming up the middle. He was able to buy a little more time and almost made the connection with Joey Kent.
Every player, you see number 15, he's a corner spinner. Every player on this Virginia Tech defense has a blitz. And again, it was the pressure that forced the incompletion. You're right, Manning has enough ability to move around a pocket, buy himself a second chance. But a good blitz by Barron Spinner off the corner forced the underthrown ball.
So they have stopped him on a 4th down now. 4th down, 7 yards to go. And a field goal attempt coming up. John Beckford, who this year was 9 of 18. His long was 44 yards. He will be attempting a field goal as we now are going to have a timeout called. Timeout by Virginia Tech. So they have 2 remaining with 3:35. You can see the numbers on Beckford. He's been so good in the PAT department, but a little inconsistent from field goal range. We'll be back. The Vols leading 35-16. Beckford, he has kicked a 53-yarder in 92 against Arkansas. However, his longest on grass was in the Citrus Bowl last year against Penn State. He kicked a 50-yarder. His long this year, 44, and that was at Georgia.
And Gary, for Virginia Tech, they are adept at blocking kicks, and in particular, number 1, Michael Williams, their guy off the corner, has done a great job. Blocked 2 kicks this year.
Back-to-back games. 48-yard attempt. And Shelton to hold, and he's going to fake it. And he's going to be thrown for a loss. That was an outstanding effort that time defensively by Mike Williams, the guy we talked about blocking it. He just kept coming, and he made the stop.
Well, he may have blocked it if they tried to kick it. But a heck of a play by Michael Williams. This second half, the Virginia Tech defense has been lifted by the play of Maurice DeShazo, their defense, and now the special teams, number 1, right here at the top. He's going to come off the corner. Now, he's thinking block this kick. He was not fooled, though. Didn't get up in the air and makes the play. I mean, a good special teams play.
And so as an end result, Virginia Tech has it at the 45-yard line, trailing 35-16. DeShazo rolling out, on target, completes to Still, and Still's got a first down to the 40-yard line. Lance Wheaton, the holder, trying somehow to escape the rush of Williams.
Now, Wheaton's the 3rd-team quarterback, but again, Michael Williams made it happen. And again, he was thinking block, but again, the thing has really turned around. They played some very good special teams, particularly there by Michael Williams. The defense did their job on the opening drive of the second half, Gary, and it seems like Maurice DeShazo has really gotten it going.
From the 41 now, the Vols first down. 3:22 left in the 3rd quarter. Second half time trailed 35-10. DeShazo handing off to the Wayne Thomas. Thomas across the 40 to the 38-yard line.
Well, 3:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 35-16 Volunteers, but Frank Beamer told Greg Sager as he came out, hey, we got a lot of football left. We need to get that running game going. We need to get DeShazo involved in some rhythm in the passing game, and they are. And this is a critical, absolutely critical drive for them.
Second down coming up. 2nd down and 7 yards to go.
What is it?
Here's the reverse to Still. Still's got some running room. He's got Malone blocking ahead and then picks up at the 30, and he has a first down to the 29. John Summers, helmet to helmet with him there. Still had ahead of him Chris Malone, the junior from Emporia, Virginia, a guard pulling ahead of him. First down at the 29 for Tech.
Virginia Tech on offense this second half here is a different team. They're throwing the ball well. They've run the option with some success. They've, DeShazo had a big scramble, then a reverse. They've done everything well.
DeShazo changing the play. On the option, gives to the fullback Edmonds. Edmonds keeps on his feet close to the 20-yard line, a gain of 9. And you can just see this game starting to pivot around. Virginia Tech has started to come back as we approach 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, again, once you get that option play going to the outside, boy, does that make it easier for your fullback, Brian Edmonds, running inside. So, you get a couple of balls on the perimeter, Gary, where you pitch the ball, your quarterback keeps it. And I'm going to tell you, the inside linebackers start playing a lot looser, and your fullbacks have a great opportunity on the dive play, which is the first option of the triple option.
Freeman coming out of the ball game, he may be having some problems with leg cramps. He was late getting off the field. Officials holding up play for a moment. Second down, 1 yard to go from the 21. DeShazo straightens up and bounces one. That was Jermaine Holmes, the intended receiver. He just threw that one into the ground. Stops the clock with 1:43 to go in the third. And it'll bring up a third down and still a yard to go.
You don't have a wasted down on 2nd and 1. You'd like to throw the ball deep in the end zone. Now they face a 3rd and 1. Tennessee has played a pretty good short yardage defense this game.
Freeman trying to shake it off, get back in here. Edwards in the backfield, Edmonds in the backfield along with Thomas. Edwards in the slot to the left. Shazo, bootleg, near side, wanted to throw, now gets rid of it.
Heads up play. That's a smart play by DeShazo, getting rid of the ball and avoiding the sack and an 8 to 10 yard loss.
So it's 4th down coming up for Virginia Tech.
Well, remember they went for it on 4th down before and they scored a touchdown, down by what, 19 points? My math is correct. I won't ask you, Gary. I think we're down by 19 points.
Let me take my shoes off here, I suppose. Well, it looks like they're going to go for it. Freeman's coming in.
Again, what I don't like to see with Virginia Tech here is matching up power for power against Tennessee. I think they're better off spreading it out a little bit.
And using DeShazo's open field ability.
And they have spread it out here.
4th and a yard. He mishandled the snap, tries to get up with it, fumbles it again. He has it, but they don't get it. It's going to turn it over to Tennessee. What a terrible time to mishandle a snap from center.
2nd for exchange tonight between quarterback and center, the most basic thing of offensive football. That one came out, looked like he came out perfectly, and DeShazo just couldn't handle it. Earlier, Tennessee didn't get the ball to him, but when they needed to play there, they just couldn't come up with it. Well, remember, they had two turnovers in the first half. They've had 2 bad exchanges, and really the fighting and clawing, everything was going well. And the 4th and 1, remember they scored on the 4th down earlier in the game, but that was a great opportunity that was just missed.
And so Virginia Tech climbing back into this football game, but now emotionally you wonder what a letdown this has to be for this team.
Yeah, well, one more time, though, the Virginia Tech defense is going to have to get it done. I mean, they're going to have to force a turnover. Tennessee has no turnovers on the evening.
That's the center, Bill Conity, who's their best offensive lineman. He's a sophomore out of the Virginia area, and you can see total defense. Look at this.
Giving up 411 yards to an explosive Tennessee team tonight.
Well, and Tennessee averaged 414 this year. That was 3rd in the SEC. They had 665 yards in the last game against Vanderbilt. So here comes Tennessee and little man Stewart, who dives to the 30-yard line. As we go to the last minute and a half of this third quarter, Hank Coleman, number 6, made the stop.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I've been really impressed with James Stewart. I mean, when you really needed him to make some runs, some tough yards, he's been able to do that. He's shed some tackles, break some tackles. He's had a couple of nice finesse runs. Of course, he threw a touchdown pass. He scored twice on short yardage. James Stewart has had a very productive evening for the Volunteers.
And the all-time leading rusher for the Volunteers and all those outstanding running backs they've had through the years. from the 30-yard line. Second down and 7. There's a pass and almost intercepted. That ball was up for grabs. Hank Coleman, number 6, almost had it. I wonder why Coleman wears number 6. He is a former tailback in high school, and they like to get the speed up front, and he almost got there.
This ball may have been thrown a little bit too hard. The pressure up the front, it was up by Waverly. The ball thrown hard, and Hank Coleman, who's had just really a great year for Virginia Tech on defense, and he has done everything. Anytime you know a guy who's wearing number 6, who's a defensive end, Gary, he's got speed.
Yep. Most improved player, the Tech coaches were telling us this year defensively. So it's a third down already, 3rd and 7. Peyton Manning being flushed out, and he throws, puts the ball incomplete, just barely got it away. Coleman was there again, but Peyton Manning had enough strength to avoid the sack, get the ball away, and it's a 4th down now for Tennessee.
Hank Coleman is not going to overpower you, but he will outquick you. He'll get on the edge of a player, and he'll make you miss. He can make you look foolish. He's number 6. And just like, he just blows right by the tackle by my man Bubba Miller.
Boy, I tell you, Peyton Manning avoided a long loss there, didn't he? Hutton to punt the football. Antonio Freeman back. He almost got it. That was Mike Williams again, number 1. He's gotten 2 of them this year, and Freeman returns the punt to the 39. Mike Williams is not a very big guy, and yet at 5'8" and 153 pounds, it's like he's shot out of a cannon when he comes off the corner. Watch this.
He made some people miss. Yes. If he were 6'2", that would have been blocked.
Well, he was able to block a punt against Miami, a field goal against Rutgers, and almost got one here in the Gator Bowl.
He changed his helmet to number 1.
31 seconds left in the 3rd. I tell you, I'm going to quit listening sometime. 35-16 in favor of Tennessee. DeShazo going up top. He's got Still wide open. He dropped it. That was 6. That was a touchdown. No one would have caught him.
You know, they have Freeman open for a touchdown. They can't get him the ball. They have Steele open for a touchdown, and he drops them. And a disbelief on the Hokie sideline. I mean, this is a perfect throw by DeShazo. Remember earlier he had Freeman, couldn't get the ball to him? This time to Still. And this guy has really been a dependable receiver, one who's always adjusted to the ball well. He's had a good night, but
wow,
boy.
Missed opportunities. Tech Still with a 2nd down and 10 from the 39. DeShazo trying to throw back. They don't have anybody open. The screen guy was covered, so he just throws it away. He wanted to throw a screen to the far side, and there's just nobody cleared over there.
Yeah, well read by the Tennessee defense. I believe it was Scott Gallion who read the screen well.
3rd down now, 10 yards to go.
Well, Antonio Freeman is not a bad blocker either. Talked about his receiving skills. So this is a screen pass. He's going right after the middle linebacker. And he's not looking for little old defensive backs. He's going to bury in middle linebacker. It's a heck of a block.
Tyrone Hines might be looking for him in a couple of plays down the road.
Right.
3rd down and 10. Hazo setting up over the middle. It's up and incomplete. The intended receiver, Freeman. There are 3 orange jerseys in the vicinity, so some near misses, a near touchdown. Tech runs out of downs with 13 seconds left in this quarter.
Twice the Hokies have had chance to put points on the board, Gary, and twice they've come away with absolutely nothing.
Colley in to punt the football. Tech had a man arriving late. John Summers is back deep for Tennessee.
Yeah, fills out that number 2, didn't he?
Yeah. He's well at the training table. 6 seconds left on the play clock as he punts this one away. Summers, nice spin move. Still on his feet. Here he comes to the 25, the 30. John Summers to the 45. Colley is there. He can't make the tackle. Summers to the 25. And wait a minute, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds where Colley tried to make the stop on him. So Colley over, able to get him out of bounds at the 37-yard line. But what an effort by Sean Summers. 2 spin moves to stay on his feet.
Well, you lose Nilo Sylvan earlier to an injury, a guy who had a great year as a punt returner. This is their second team punt returner. You don't think Tennessee's going to have some depth in the special teams game? I mean, General Neal and I, the Tennessee Volunteers have won games in the kicking game and on special teams, and tonight is no different for the University of Tennessee. He's checking into the witness protection program right after the game. That's it, nothing like college football. Woo!
I hope I don't know that guy.
Man, oh man.
We start the fourth.
I tell you, photosynthesis lives.
15 minutes to go here in the Gator Bowl. Hand off to Stewart. Stewart trying to swing to the near side, and he's going to go out of bounds short of the 30-yard line.
Again, here's where that Tennessee offensive line can be difference makers in the fourth quarter. Either in one of two ways. When you need a clutch drive, this offensive line can take control of the game. Or when you're trying to protect the 35-16 lead, you kind of grind out some yards, some first downs, and run the clock out. And that's why a great offensive line is such a tremendous asset to a football team.
Well, this Tennessee team was shut out in the third quarter. They had a 35-10 lead at halftime, now lead at 35-16. And not much going that time. Del Rico putting a pretty good stick on James Little Man Stewart. Going to bring up a third down now. Third down and still 4.5 yards to go. Stewart's been very busy in this game. He's carried a ball 19 times for 74 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns.
And thrown another. And soon he'll be big man, Stewart.
His dad gave him that label, called him Little Man when he was growing up. But he's a big man on campus. Third down, 3. Joey Kent in motion. Sprint out by Manning. He hits Kent. Kent to the 20, and Garveral bulldogs him down there.
Ooh, nice adjustment there by Joey Kent, and the ball thrown a little bit behind him as Peyton Manning rolls to his left, got his shoulders turned. But Joey Kent, I mean, remember in the first half, he made that diving catch out in front of him on a deep ball. He's in motion first of all, and the ball is thrown just a little bit behind him, but he gets turned, makes the adjustment. Man, these Tennessee wide receivers, a long line of great ones, and Joey Kent, only a sophomore. Between him and Manning and Marcus Nash and a couple of other freshmen, Maurice Staley, Andy McCullough, they're going to have a long history of some touchdown catches.
They played 11 true freshmen this year. There's a completion, and the catch is made by one of those true freshmen, Marcus Nash. Nash has been impressive. The touchdown catch he made earlier in the ball game.
You know, Phil Fulmer has kind of a different approach with freshmen. He'd regularly redshirt them all, but again, one receiver has to clear out a zone for another. And this is number 21, Staley. He clears it out for the other freshman, Marcus Nash. You know, oftentimes it's what goes on away from the ball, away from the pass, that really sets up a successful play.
Those two guys, by the way, are rated 1-2 in high school circles last year, receiver-wise. So they got the number 1 and 2 recruitments of the year, so you can see what kind of a future they have in that position. Here's a handoff to Stewart. Not much going there to the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, wasn't Tennessee rated the number 1 recruiting class of a year ago? And, you know, they've got the 3 great receivers that we talked about. Terry Fair, the freshman at Arizona, who started and played remarkably well this game. Jonathan Brown, the defensive end, who's a freshman. They've had a lot of young players. But Phil Fulmer, he said he'd rather prefer redshirt all his freshmen if he could with his quarterbacks this year. Whereas Frank Beamer likes playing freshmen. He likes a mix of young and old players.
2nd and goal now from the 5-yard line. Strong formation right, hand off to Stewart. Stewart fighting for the goal line, and he scored his 3rd touchdown of the night.
Strong, powerful run by James Stewart. So 2 or 3 times he could have been stopped on his touchdown runs, this one included. Mose Phillips, number 19, with a good lead block, but he runs right over a strong safety, number 14, Torian Gray. Now, Torian Gray is 192 pounds and an all Big East selection, and he ran right through his tackle.
13-17 mark. Beckford makes it an advantage. It's going to be awfully hard to overcome now. 41-16 Tennessee.
Well, he was great in A Wonderful Life. He was great in Harvey, and he's been great here this evening. James Stewart.
James Stewart, he's accounted for 4 touchdowns. He's run for 3. He's passed for another. And what a way to conclude a career at Tennessee. The all-time leading rusher for the Vols. Determined 5-yard run just a moment ago, and at 42-16 looks pretty insurmountable. Tennessee scoring their first touchdown of the second half. That's that offensive line you were talking about that's been so good.
Boy, they really, and there's Bubba, 71. They have been awfully good. It's offense. Anytime you run the ball as well as Tennessee has tonight and this year, as it led the SEC in rushing, your offensive line's doing a heck of a job.
Bubba, by the way, was the center at the start of the year. Then he broke a thumb. Then they moved Jeff Smith to center, and they just stayed there with that alignment. All 5 of those guys could be playing on Sunday. Still, will come up with a kickoff, run into a wall, and go backwards. That was Craig King, 44. He's the backup middle linebacker to Tyrone Hines.
A couple special teams plays by him.
Watching tapes, you see him really flash a lot in the special teams. You see him appear. He really goes after you in the open field.
Remember, he caused that 1 turnover on a kickoff coverage earlier in the game.
So King getting some playing time, a sophomore out of Asheville, North Carolina. Backing up Tyrone Hines. You know, Hines has the wrong number out there, you know?
What number should he be?
Should be 57. Hines 57.
Oh, you've been waiting. You have been waiting, and it wasn't worth the wait.
Freeman. Well, that was as bad as James Stewart line a while ago. I have to try to stay with you. That will be.
There he is.
They caught the ball. They're going to lose some yardage. There is Hines, number 47.
Well, you know, with 12:52 remaining in this ball game, for some of these players, some of these seniors, guys like Maurice DeShazo in particular, I mean, may well be their last football game. I mean, he may go on to have a pro career, but certainly his last game here. These are special moments. I mean, moments you want to savor and try to make something happen the last 12 minutes.
And he didn't want that to happen. He threw that right into the Tennessee end, and they didn't like that. That's not what DeShazo had in mind. The interception being returned, and it is going to be carried out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Sean Summers, who came up with the interception, and DeShazo really upsetted himself. He started shakily, and now ending this game in a fashion that he doesn't want to remember.
When did shakily become a word?
I don't know. Is that a word?
It is now. But here's Brandon Stewart, number 6, back in the ball game. He has played equally well as Peyton Manning. He hasn't had as many opportunities, but run the ball well, throwing the ball confidently.
You know, he was 7 of 7 in the last game, so he's hit his last 9 passes as he hands off to Stewart. Stewart continues to mount the numbers as he's knocked down at the 12-yard line. 12:20 left in this ball game. 8-yard pickup on the play.
I think the reason you're seeing James Stewart still in the ball game is really his senior year, his last game as a volunteer.
Coming off the field now. 42-16, Tennessee. Tennessee team, they really started out in the kind of fashion they didn't want. They were out in the Rose Bowl. They had Jerry Colquitt, their quarterback, hurt in the first series, had all kinds of injuries, lost that ball game. They won at Georgia, dropped the next 2. They won 6 of the last 7 in the regular season, and this is quite a statement they're making here tonight. Here's a handoff to Jay Graham, who replaced Stewart. Graham to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal there.
Well, you think forward or the next year in the SEC, and there's still going to be some powerhouse teams in the SEC. Of course, Florida, Auburn comes off probation. This Tennessee team is a young football team. Alabama will be good again.
Arkansas was improved this year.
LSU with a change in the coaching staff, but I mean, again, it's going to be a very tough conference. But the way Tennessee finished the year and the way they played tonight in this bowl game, you have to think about them contending next year.
1st and goal at the 5. Graham diving to the 3-yard line. Graham, you might recall, scored a touchdown back in the second quarter. Flags everywhere. Banks making the stop for Virginia Tech. There'll be a personal foul against Tennessee. So they'll back it up. Well, Father Archie has to be very pleased with his offspring.
After the play was over, we have a personal foul against the offense, 15 yards. It was after the play. It'll be
71 Gator Bowl. That was against Auburn, and Dad lost in that ball game. But he had his arm in a cast when he was playing in that game.
Well, Archie, man, I played against him for a number of years. What a great player. I mean, he was maybe the best quarterback on a bad team in the NFL. I mean,
He took a pounding with the Saints, didn't he?
He had to have, Jack Youngblood's helmet surgically removed from his chest after 3 or 4 games.
Stewart giving off to Graham again. Graham trying to get that penalty yardage back. Gets to the 10-yard line. Archie playing, of course, at Ole Miss. Peyton Manning narrowed his schools down to Tennessee and Florida and ended up coming here. And Peyton Manning, what a career he has ahead of him.
Archie was a tough guy. He plays with a broken arm. I went out with a broken pinky. I mean, he played with a broken arm.
That doesn't surprise me about you. Third down now and goal from the 10. Stewart delivers to the tight end, and they'll get to the 3-yard line, where it'll bring up now 4th and goal. David Horn, the junior from Jonesboro, Georgia, was able to make that catch. So 4th and goal from the 3, and the Volunteer fans want him to go for it. And it looks like Brandon Stewart is going to do that very thing.
We talked about Peyton Manning's arm tonight, but Brandon Stewart has shown me that he can throw the ball with a lot of velocity and accuracy as well.
And as he goes up to the line of scrimmage, we're going to have a timeout called. Tennessee asking for the timeout with 9:45 left in the ball game. The Vols with 9:45 left with a 42-16 lead. Izzo's team trailing 42-16, and he has thrown 2 interceptions. He fumbled once. On the other hand, Peyton Manning has thrown for 1 touchdown, 189 yards, 12 of 19. Tennessee now has decided to go for the field goal after the timeout. Bexford comes in. All-time leading scorer. Claude Reves was the guy who had that record until Bexford was able to replace him this year. This will be a 19-yard attempt. Kick is on the way, and it's good. 45-16 with 9:41 left to go. Let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, 45 points doesn't look real good for him.
Making better plays in the future.
Okay, go cheer him up.
I will.
Go back to Gary and Pat.
Thanks, Craig. That's what roomies are all about. They got to be there in the tough times, and that looks like Ken Brown's going to be a good guy in that circumstance. Antonio Banks is going to return this one for Virginia Tech. Brings it out to the 22 and knocks down there. I'll tell you, every time they return a kickoff, it looks like somebody's thrown a brick wall up there, up the middle. A really good coverage by Tennessee.
Tennessee is, as long as I can remember, Gary, they've been great in the kicking department. I mean, always been a premium on it at Tennessee.
And so we're going to see for the first time tonight Jim Druckenmiller. He's a sophomore out of Northampton, Pennsylvania. He is more of a straight drop-back type quarterback. He's a big guy, 6'4", 215-pounder. You can see he hasn't played all that much. He gives off to Ken Oxidine, the freshman, and Oxidine out of Chester, Virginia. Brings it across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Druckenmiller this year played in 6 games. In 93, played in 7 games. They're telling us that this guy has kind of a Jim Kelly kind of mentality, a linebacker mentality. Very tough kid.
Yeah, he is a big guy, and he'll probably change the offense a little bit more to suit his talents next year. As we said, he drop back throw, a passer type. I mean, he's got a very good delivery and a strong arm. And as we said, Virginia Tech has a young football team, particularly defensively.
Second down and 5. Pitch comes back to Oxidine. Gave him a chance now to show his wares. They think this guy being the player of the year out of the state of Virginia is the real thing. They love his talent. Number 28, you'll probably be hearing a lot about him in the next 3 years.
Well, in his second run at Virginia Tech, he ran 53 yards for touchdowns at a big run against Syracuse. Gary, I think you mentioned that, and I think he was both offensive and defensive player of the year in the state of Virginia.
Big-time prospect, and they will use him a lot next year. They have Thomas coming back, Edwards coming back. Their top 3 tailbacks are back next year. Oxidine this time on the pitch, and just no place to go. That'll bring up a 4th down as he stopped at the 30-yard line.
Well, you think about Frank Beamer's team as they try to move their way up to the Big East. It's tough with Miami in the Big East. There, you know, Miami's not going to fall off. You will have to catch them. And Coach Beamer was saying, hey, we really going to have to go out and still get 8, 10, 12 more really quality players to be able to compete with Miami.
Well, he's taking them to new heights, though. This is the first time that Virginia Tech has gone back-to-back to bowl games. This is their most prestigious bowl they've come to. This is a team that 8-3 the last 2 years in the regular season. Last year winning the Independence Bowl. Beautiful punt that time by Colley. He started the game with a 56-yarder. Summers with it, and Summers will bring it. Still stays on his feet. That's that old spin move again, and look at this.
Unbelievable.
He's got that down, doesn't he?
Yes.
Remember the play he made earlier? Beautiful return, a 50-yard punt return. Made a couple of spinning moves, and this is reminiscent of that.
Just no quits in this Sean Summers. Remember, we said he is their second team punt returner. But you twist, you turn, you keep pumping, good things happen, and they've been happening all evening for the University of Tennessee.
And Craig Sager, I'm Gary Bender. We have 7:26 left in the ball game, and we want to invite you to join us next.
The Clipper games, I live in Los Angeles. It's been a lot of fun.
You haven't seen a lot of victories this year, have you?
No, we have not.
Ronnie Pillow was in the game for the first time. He's a redshirt freshman out of Columbia, Tennessee. A guy who will play a lot next year as well. Very good receiver. And they've used him both as a wideout and as a tailback. He gained a couple of yards on that play. 7 minutes left here in the Gator Bowl. The Gator Bowl going back to Jacksonville next year. They'll have the stadium renovated and ready to go for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Swamp here, the University of Florida, Ben Hill Griffin Field.
There you go. Got a lot of names built in.
Chester Ford, the fullback now in the ball game for the Vols. Play action by Stewart. Stewart's going to tuck it under his arm, and he'll go out of bounds very close to the 1st down. At the 50-yard line, Simonis is over there to make the stop.
Simonis, number 21, one of those guys that Frank Beamer can build his team around next year. Only a sophomore. All of his defense returning. That's the good news. The bad news is they gave up 45 points tonight, but a lot of that was caused by some turnovers offensively.
Well, Brandon, by the way, his father, Dennis, played at Virginia Tech, married Frank Beamer's sister, now playing for his uncle, and we understand the Clippers lost in overtime tonight.
Oh, darn. I guess they're not going to make the finals this year.
They might set the worst record in the NBA. That's not going to be in the finals. But you look at this Virginia Tech team, as we mentioned, they started one senior defensively. A lot of those guys you're talking about next year will bode well for them in the Big East. Hand off to Chester Ford, and he's gang tackled. He tried to get that 1st down on a 3rd and a yard to go, and I don't know that he got it.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be watching a lot of big bowl games over the weekend, Jerry.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look what's coming up.
Hutton with the punt. Freeman is back now for Tech. He's going to let this ball hit, and does it make it into the end zone? And yes, it's a touchdown. 5:34 left. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And we're going to take a break. Tennessee 45, Virginia Tech 16. 45-16. Well, Pat, I want to wish you a happy New Year.
What about New Year's resolutions, Gary? Thank you, by the way.
Well, you can't tell them or they don't...
you don't come true?
That's right.
Well,
you can't tell anybody your resolutions.
I'd like to go on a diet, but I'm a terrible loser, as you know.
I tell you, you were in a dash today with your young son, Ryan. You need to go on something. It's a diet or a complete rebuilding of your body or something. I'm not sure.
It's very built, I'll tell you.
He just blitzed you. From the 20-yard line now, 1st down. Ken Oxidine, the running back. Druckenmiller back to throw. And that's a nice throw and catch that time. Still on the receiving end. That's a first down. That ball had something on it.
Druckenmiller, a different type of guy. Came in there and did throw accurately. And Brian Still, who dropped the touchdown pass earlier in this game at a very critical moment, nonetheless has had 4 catches tonight, 68 yards. But the big one of the evening still let go right through his hands.
Official attendance tonight, 62,200 here in Gainesville.
I hope you count all those people.
They do a lot of things for you. Here's Druckenmiller again, and it's complete to Brian Jennings, the tight end. And Jennings is still running. He's to the 30 and tackles at the 27. He's a sophomore out of Forest, Virginia. Got a good block from Antonio Freeman, but Jennings, they think he has quite a future.
Yeah, Bill Height said, hey, we think this guy's going to be a great tight end. He's right on the left of the screen. Number 81 just takes an outside release, avoids a linebacker, a perfectly thrown ball by Druckenmiller, and then he makes something happen. I mean, this guy, you know, runs like a wide receiver. Boy, did he get a nice block from one of his wide receivers there.
Freeman.
Yeah. That's 2 good blocks we've seen from Freeman.
Against the defense, back on his end of the run, first down.
You know, the thing about Brian Jennings, for a big guy, 243 pounds, you saw him. He can run like a wide receiver, and if you get the ball to him like that, he could create some big plays.
At the end of the year, he was actually playing more tight end than Kevin Martin, who's a senior, and that gain, a 41-yard play, sets it up now. First down at the 22 of Tennessee. Marcus Parker came into the ball game, is greeted. Nick Jester hitting, a junior out of Delray Beach, Florida.
Marcus Parker, another guy that Frank Beamer hopes to build his team on, number 34 for the Hokies. Say he has the best speed on the team, and you consider you have guys like Ken Oxendine, that's saying something.
Virginia Tech now has it with a second down. Make it 7 yards to go. 4:30 left in this game. Still comes in motion. Druckenmiller back. Being flushed out. And he's going to go out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. That was Shane Burton, number 84, a former tight end, showing some pretty good speed that time. He stayed after him. And Druckenmiller able to get the ball just about to the 15. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Now they're going to bring it back further.
I was going to say about Shane Burton, number 84 for the Volunteers. This is a guy that you mentioned he was moved from tight end to defensive end, then defensive tackle. He has hustled all evening long and made some plays, including that one right there. I mean, you think he's out of the play, and the next thing you know, Shane Burton, number 84, keeps hustling, and he's right back in it.
So they're going to mark the ball just inside the 19. It'll be third down and still 7 yards to go. Druckenmiller back, throwing far side, and the catch is made by Freeman. That'll be a first and goal as they're just inside the 10-yard line.
Well, 4th catch of the night for Antonio Freeman. Knows exactly where the first down marker is. And what you always like for a receiver, Gary, on an out route is to make sure he comes back a little bit for the ball. Antonio Freeman did, although he didn't have a spectacular night tonight. I think Antonio Freeman is a quality receiver that's going to have a very nice future for himself.
Boy, Druckenmiller, 3 of 3 now. This is really good for him to develop some confidence playing in a bowl game. Take that into next season as the starting quarterback, possibly, and he just threw a touchdown strike. That ball was thrown well. Brian Still, who dropped one earlier, got this one.
You think about, or talk about throwing a ball on time. Druckenmiller threw that ball as well as anybody could throw the ball. One of Virginia Tech's problems tonight is when the receiver has been open, the quarterback has not been able to get rid of the ball. This time he's open, he throws it, he gets rid of it, just as the receiver's coming open, and that's a touchdown. A well-executed throw by Druckenmiller.
The guy that Druckenmiller will be battling for that quarterback spot is going to be Albert Clark. They redshirted him. He was an outstanding player from the Washington, D.C. area. He's more of a DeShazo type option quarterback. So he and Druckenmiller are considered to be the guys who will be battling for the starting spot next year as Ryan Williams adds the point after. 45-23, and let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, college is the type of time that you make a career decision. Mark Holland right here. He's a deep snapper. Find out what you do, work at it, become the best. He is the best deep snapper in the country, according to his coach. He came out here and proved it 17 times in a row. He put a mark on the goalpost and hit the goalpost 17 consecutive times, then got tired and quit. He also has about 4 offers already from teams from the NFL. That's all he does is snap the ball deep, but he's a good one.
And he sees his world upside down. What was it? It was 30 yards away. He was snapping that ball and hitting the goalpost.
Yeah, you know, Craig, guys can play for 10 years, 12 years the NFL, never get their jerseys dirty by long snapping like that. So they are well thought of.
Real skill, isn't it? Might get your neck shortened a little bit, but people pounding on you when you snap it.
Here's the look I'd like to see you wear on New Year's Eve, Gary.
Glad to do it. Anything for you.
There you go.
Well, Bill Fulmer's team is going to win a ball game and move to 8-4 on the year.
Well, what a finish, though.
5 in a row.
Had, yeah.
6 of the last 7 at the end of the regular season. Now 7 of 8. Larson kicking off. 4 of 13 left in the ball game. Summers, who's just been so good in the special teams department, goes to a knee. And they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
So here we are at University of Florida's field. You see the checkerboard square end zone, of course, which is emblematic of Tennessee. And I was talking to the groundskeeper for the University of Florida before this football game. He said, hey, one thing that Steve Spurrier said is, I don't mind it in here for this one game, but we've got recruits coming in January 13th, and I want that checkerboard out of the end zone.
Well, they went to natural grass this year at Neyland Stadium. Checkerboard. Well, you really think of Tennessee when you see that, don't you? Yeah. It's really a real distinctive mark of the balls. Lonnie Pillow now out to the 21-yard line. 4 minutes left in the ball game.
You know, you and I used to broadcast a lot of college football games, miss the environment. We've been to all the great stadiums. I think, you know, LSU, Notre Dame, Michigan, all the stadiums, there's more crowd noise and a tougher place. There's no tougher place than at Knoxville.
Well, and you know, they're going to expand the stadium. They're telling us by 96, Neyland Stadium will be over 100,000.
You know, while we're talking about the University of Tennessee, one guy we need to say hello to is our friend Lindsey Nelson. One of the most wonderful men in this broadcasting business, a great guy, good friend of us all, and we want to wish Lindsey well.
Happy New Year, Lindsey. They have the baseball stadium at Tennessee named after Lindsey. True gentleman. Hand off to Pillow again, and Pillow will bring it out to the 23-yard line.
You know, worked a lot of games with Lindsey and those crazy sports coats he used to wear, and he used to always think about all those horses that were going cold as he wore those coats.
Good thing you're not allergic to horse blankets. You've been in real trouble, wouldn't you?
Now, there's a dejected staff, and rightfully so. 45-23, high hopes for this game. They really felt they could compete with Tennessee. They thought they had the right plan. It was some more option plays. They thought they were going to get some big pass plays, but it just didn't turn out.
Well, remember that mishandled snap on 4th down. They were still in that game, 35-16 at the time. Didn't get a chance to pull it out. Pillow was dropped for a loss. Good play by the true freshman, Tony Morrison. So at the 2:30 mark now, it's going to bring up a punting situation. 4th down.
And Gary, this is a situation, the game that everybody's hoping is you avoid an injury or avoid injuries. Regardless of the score and regardless of which team you're rooting for, you just hope you can get through these last 2 minutes when the game has already been decided without an injury that'll affect the player potentially the rest of his life.
Well, we'll have a special guest with Craig Sager, a guy who was just inducted into the Gator Bowl Hall of Fame this week. Athletic director of Tennessee, Doug Dickey. Hutton will punt. We go inside, 2 minutes left. Antonio Freeman back at the 35-yard line, looking for a place to go. Out to the 40, and he'll be knocked out of bounds at the 43. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, thank you very much. With me, Hall of Famer Doug Dickey, inducted this year to the Gator Bowl Hall of Fame. You have to be very proud, not only of the honor you received, but of your Tennessee team here tonight.
Well, I certainly am proud of Coach Fulmer and his staff and his whole team for the very fine job I think they've done preparing for this game and the way they played tonight. They're very sharp in the first half. Our defense played well, and they complemented each other, and you can't ask any more than to go out 35-10 at the half.
Gary and Pat mentioned the expansion plans at the stadium. With this young team you have out here, you're going to have some great teams in the next couple of years.
Well, I think the future of our football program is very bright. We have a wonderful freshman class. I hope they can back it up with another one. Our fans have been tremendously supportive of our program, and we hope we can have another very fine group of them come in with maybe 8,000 or 9,000 new seats.
Congratulations again on the Hall team.
Thank you.
Gary?
Thank you very much, Craig. Doug Dickey, who participated in 4 Gator Bowls. 1 as a player, 2 as a head coach at Tennessee, and 1 as a head coach of the Florida Gators. Line of scrimmage of 41 after that first down catch with 1:22 left in the ball game. Druckenmiller has impressed us. He keeps spreading the ball around. The completion to Jermaine Holmes. Holmes will go out of bounds. He just made the catch a moment ago, and that'll be a catch to the 31, about a yard short of the first down.
You're right. Frank Beamer has to be happy with the play of Jim Druckenmiller. And just looking for any positive thing to be able to build next season on, and he'll come back for 2 more years, and he has looked very sharp here in this fourth quarter.
Doug Dickey extended his coach's contract. Beamer got his extended through 1999. Both coaches around till 1999, and we've been extended through 1994. Here's Druckenmiller up the field, and is that intercepted? No, trapped. Nice try, but Raymond Austin couldn't quite pick it off the ground.
Gary, I've had a great year to work with you in 1994, and with all our crew at TBS and TNT. It's been a wonderful year. Appreciate everybody's hard work, and wish everybody a Happy New Year.
I echo those comments. Hard-working group, and with 1 year left, get all those resolutions ready. And you in particular, Pat, I've got a few to suggest for you if you'd like to have any help in that department. 3rd down and a yard to go for Virginia Tech. Our producer, Peter Lasser's tired of laughing at all your jokes. He'll be glad to be away from you for a while, I'm sure. Brian Still, the intended receiver, with 1 minute left in the ball game.
So I know you'll be cracking UB Brown up shortly. Basketball game for UB.
Yeah, I'm going to work with some real pros now. Doug Collins, UB Brown, and Jack Gibbons. Moving on from present company. Oh, I tell you, Pat, we have a lot of fun, don't we?
We do. We do. You're out there. It's only a game, right? That's my mother always told me.
1 minute left to go as Oxidine trying to fight his way up the field. I want to thank our spotter, Tom Delmos, who really got to work out tonight. You try to look at these white numbers on orange jerseys from up above here in the college game. Of course, they only have about 100 guys in uniform, and we appreciate his help. And, of course, he was with us throughout the Sunday Night Football on TNT. So it will not be enough for the first down. Tennessee will get the football. I want to thank both of these institutions, the University of Tennessee and Virginia Tech. Great job that they have done, Jack Williams and Bud Ford, the people who have extended courtesies to us, and it was a logistical, I guess, mismatch, getting back and forth, going to Jacksonville, coming down to here, and Joy finishing this 1994 year. 55 seconds left in the ball game. It's going to be Tennessee's Ronnie Pillow trying to pick up some yardage, and that might be the last snap. So Tennessee, picking up this win, will finish 8-4 on the year. Virginia Tech, likewise, will go to 8-4. On the other hand, Tennessee has won 5 in a row. They got off very effectively, had a scary time there in the 3rd quarter, and then put this Virginia Tech team away. The first meeting since 1937. What are we talking about? The first time they met was what?
Nearly 100 years ago.
Yeah, 98 years ago. Handoff again, and no place to go for Tennessee, as that was Neil Kearney carrying the ball, and Phil Fulmer is going to enjoy New Year's with a victory here tonight. And the Tennessee Volunteers, their 5th appearance in the Gator Bowl. Their 35th overall, 3rd only to USC in Alabama. And let's go down to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, I think to find out who our MVP is. James Stewart ran for 3 touchdowns, threw for 1, outstanding game.
Yeah, everybody just came out and did a real great job, and seniors went out,
with a bang, and it'll start the team off next year in good spirits. So.
You leave as Tennessee's all-time leading rusher. You have the MVP award in your hand. Too bad this sport doesn't have a postseason tournament like basketball, because you guys are on a roll.
Yeah, we are on a roll. We want to finish up strong at the latter part of the season, and we did that. So we did ourselves proud and coming out and working real hard at the end of the season.
Your season's not over. You got the Senior Bowl. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Our MVP, James Stewart. Back to you, Gary.
Okay, Craig, thank you very much. The final, 45-23, Tennessee. Pat and I will be back with some final thoughts from Gainesville, Florida, in just a moment. Gator Bowl is over, and Tennessee has won it 45-23.
I was just very pleased at some of the big plays we saw. Peyton Manning, impressed with, heard a lot of good things about him, Gary. I thought he was sensational. He's going to have a very big career, I think, at Tennessee and probably beyond. And for the Hokies, along we talked about their young players, they've got a lot to build on. They got a ways to catch Miami in the Big East, where this is the program on the rise under Frank Beamer.
Okay, Pat, thanks again. Final score, Tennessee 45, Virginia Tech 23. Tune in again on Thursday when the San Antonio Spurs and the U has won the Gator Bowl 45-23.
Fans. We'll get their reaction live with a special report via Skylink from Gainesville.
Sports Little Man Stewart, not a bad game.
Big night tonight for Tennessee. I think Tennessee wanted to send a message, maybe to have some of the frustrations they've had all season long. I think they did that. In a lot of respects, 1994 wasn't all that great for the Tennessee football team. A loss to Penn State to begin the year. Last year, if you remember, in the bowl game, a disappointing 7-4 season. And tonight, the Volunteers had a chance to end 1994 on a good note and look toward 1995 as they played Virginia Tech and the Outback Steakhouse Gator Bowl. Philip Fulmer's team trying to get off to a good start, and they did on the second play of the game. Maurice DeSaggio was intercepted by Tyrone Hines, and the Volunteers got right into scoring position. Tennessee didn't really flounder the opportunity. The Volunteers took advantage of it as they gave it to James Littleman Stewart. He scored to give Tennessee an early 7-0 lead. From there, Tennessee really went to work. Watch the pass from Peyton Manning to Joey Kent. Kent lays out, makes the grab. That puts Tennessee back in scoring position one more time. Watch it once again. Kent, just a terrific catch. And Tennessee's now in position. And what do? Go right back to work. Peyton Manning to Marcus Nash. Watch this throw and catch. Perfect. Nash gets the touchdown. Tennessee led it 14-0. Watch where Manning put the ball again, and watch the concentration by Nash. Right over the defender, and Tennessee's leading it by a score of 14-zip. Then the Volunteers defense forces another turnover. Same guy, Tyrone Hines, knocks it loose. George Kidd picks it up, and the Volunteers in position. Philip Fulmer going for the kill on this one as they do the all halfback option. James Littleman Stewart did it in the Mississippi State game. Hits his buddy Kendrick Jones for the touchdown, and the Volunteers led at halftime 35-10 over Virginia Tech. Now they got a terrific quarterback, Maurice DeSaggio. 4th and 6, third quarter. What an athletic play that was to make it 35-16, but that's as close as they got as Tennessee put the hammer to them after that. As again, James Littleman Stewart scores his third touchdown of the night. He also threw for one. Tennessee wins it 45-23. Local for live from Gainesville. Well, I think it's a very happy celebration time for Tennessee, Mike.
Yeah, no question about it, Bob, as the Vols just accepted the Gator Bowl trophy just a little while ago. Philip Fulmer very happy with the team, the way the team played. A lot of Vol fans still kind of hanging out and listening to the Pride of the Southland band. Whole lot better feeling this year than the way they ended last year as they lost to Penn State. It was a terrific performance overall. They went for the knockout blow early. As you mentioned, little man, what a game for James Stewart. 3 touchdowns. He threw for the other one, was named the game MVP. You know, all week long, people have been talking about the Virginia Tech defense, but it was really that Tennessee defense in the first half, along with perfect execution on offense, that really made the difference in the ball game. And on offensively, perfect balance for the Vols. If you look at 244 runs, 50%, 150 passing, a total of 494 on the day. They could not have played much better, and certainly this is a great way to head into 95 for the team. Just was a terrific performance. There were heroes everywhere, and the Vols get it done by a final score of 45-23.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Mike joining us from Gainesville Live. Tennessee again a winner, 45-23 over Virginia Tech. The next game for Tennessee, September 2nd in Neyland Stadium against East Carolina to open up the 1995 football season, but they've got some momentum as they head to that one. There are other
they needed this. They deserved it. It's been such a tough season, and to go out this way is pretty awesome. The Vols going down to the Swamp tonight for this Gator Bowl, and the only thing getting swamped was Virginia Tech's defense. The Vols just letting it fly, and man, what fun. We'll have the stuff and go live to Gainesville for the Vols reaction next.
Heading into 95, this has got to be really good for the team. How's the locker room?
It's exciting. You know, everybody's loud in there singing and stuff. You know, it's ready to go home.
Hey, Sean, congratulations. Tremendous win tonight. Thanks for joining us. All right, Bob, Sean Summers had a big game on defense and on special teams. Let's take it back to you.
Okay, Mike, defense and special teams are indeed a key for Tennessee. Let's move to basketball now. The Volunteers have a couple of big
nail-biting for this one. The Vols just letting it loose on Virginia Tech tonight in this Gator Bowl. And coming after Tech's Maurice DeShazo in a hurry. Tyrone Hines just happens to be in the right place at the right time, picks it off, and look at Tyrone out there. Vols defense setting the table for the offense. James Littleman Stewart finishing it off, and the Vols are up 7-0. Now let's flip through the playbook here. Peyton Manning going deep for Joey Kent. Look at this catch. The Vols in business. Now the very next play, look at Manning fighting off the pressure, and he just lets it go. Freshman Marcus Nash down there in the end zone waiting on it. 14-0 Vols. And if this guy is your best friend, get him a good bar of soap, please. Flipping through the playbook again. Look at this, the reverse to Kendrick Jones. Not Nilo Sylvan, but Kendrick Jones. He's got the guys out front. Kendrick, still a long way to go. Gets knocked out inside the 10-yard line. From there, Jay Graham gets a turn at it. Makes it 21-0. 21-7 later, and Little Man goes romping again and taking them on. Look at this. Inside the 5-yard line, but they give it to him to go over from the 1, and it's 28-7 Vols. And that playbook isn't dusty anymore, is it, Phil? Remember this from the Mississippi State game? Little Man, look at him throwing it. Hits Kendrick Jones for the touchdown. 35-10 Vols at the half. And I got to show you this. They're trying to get John Becksport a touchdown here. They fake the field goal. Sorry, John. Lance Wheaton gets decked. Hey, it was worth a shot. Vols get one more touchdown. Second half, it's Stewart, the Gator Bowl MVP. The Vols with 494 total offensive yards. They roll it 45-23 over Virginia Tech. Let's take you down to Florida Field, where Jim Wogan just finished up talking with the Vols. Got one there for us, don't you?
Yeah, we actually do. Sean Summers is with us, the quick strike, big play capability tonight, Sean, and you guys got to be smiling big time after this one.
Oh, yeah, we like to come out and win, big like we just did, Everybody's talking about, that they had a tough line and everything. Our defense is going to have to come out and play, and that's what we did.
Big plays tonight. You almost bust that punt return for a touchdown. Tell me about it.
Had a couple of good blocks on there, and I just tried to get outside and run. But the punter, he pushed me out a little bit, and I stepped out of bounds. So
do you expect this game to be as high scoring and as wide open as it was, I guess?
We wanted to come out and score as many points as we could, and try and hold them to a goose egg, but we couldn't do it. They had a good game, and they ran the ball pretty hard.
All right, you guys head back to Jacksonville, fly home tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think I was told you fly back tomorrow. Look, have a good trip, and I know it'll be a happy trip back to Knoxville for you guys.
All right.
All right, Sean Summers, one of the big guys on defense for Tennessee, and almost had that punt return for a touchdown. The Vols with the big play capability out here and working the big strike on the offense, too. We talked with some of the guys after the game on the field, and one guy was extremely happy. Peyton Manning, playing in his first bowl game, comes up with a win. He had this to say after the game.
It is. The end of the season, after the way we started, to get a win like this, it's always great.
You guys got to be something to build on for next season.
Absolutely. It's help out going into recruiting and going into spring practice, and it gets on a good start, unlike last year.
How's it feel to win that thing?
Thank you. It's a great compliment to our football team, is the way they fought back and the way they played tonight against a good Virginia Tech team.
Wide open game. I mean, do you expect it to be that way going in?
I expected us to be that way because they were so much blitz. It was very difficult to run the football. So there's a great plan by the offensive staff and super execution. It's great to see some of those young receivers making things happen.
Yes, it's pretty huge. I've been trying to ask for the ball all night, and they went to me one time, and I tried to make the best of it.
Well, we got them on a lot of big plays, and I don't really think we ran as many in the second half, but I think in the first half we got them on a lot of big plays, and that's what made the difference.
Hey, I tell you what, this was a fun football game to watch. And Scott, no, I didn't bite my nails during the game, but I did plenty of nail biting during the week. All that worrying for naught, though. The Vols with a big win down here in Gainesville, and as opposed to...
Look at Joey Kent, the big sacrifice. Absorbs the body shot, hauls it in. Next play, Manning looking deep again. Marcus Nash has beaten the Virginia Tech coverage. It's 14-0 Volunteers, and the cheerleaders are having a good time. There they are, working hard. Second quarter, James Stewart on the option.